uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play. uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998.
going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on a happy
Hump Day
edition of the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. How do we start off this show, as it has been a busy day if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, let alone a football fan altogether. The start of free agency has been unbelievable. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have my professional handicapper extraordinaire, Mr. Harry the Greek of 1252 Chicago Sports, on with us. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy on with us. The legend Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. And then, of course, the madman himself, former XPW announcer, Mr. Mark Mancini, the forgotten son of Pittsburgh, Mr. Ralph Williams, of course, Turnbuckle Talk, National Perspective. And also, I hear Jacob Charnow may be in the building because Aaron Rodgers has chosen the New York Jets. But, of course, that's not necessarily what we're going to start out with tonight, huh, Bucs fans? How are you feeling tonight, huh? Jamel Dean gets re-signed, of course, a couple days ago. They traded Shaq Mason for a pick, save $5 million. Then they take that money that they save and re-sign an Aaron Stinney for $2.5 million. You pick up an extra 6th-round pick, so now you got 3 6th-round picks. You re-sign Lavonte David, and oh, by the way, you have a new quarterback in that room by the name of Mr. Baker Mayfield. 1 year, $8.5 million. Of course, rumor is it could be $4 million with $4 million incentives. What do you guys think about it? What do you think about the win total? Does it go up or down? Let me give out the phone numbers. Let's not waste time with all these intros. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Again, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. And then not only that, you re-sign Lavonte David, get Baker Mayfield, re-sign Nelson. Anthony Nelson gets re-signed. And also there's rumors out there of Ezekiel Elliott possibly coming to Tampa Bay. Of course, Skip Pete, the new running back coach, and the Dallas Cowboys cut him today. So we'll see how that works out. We'll talk with you. Let's go ahead and get everybody's intro on. Here we go. Mr. Harry the Greek, welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. I don't have any music for you, Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, so we'll come out to you. Gentlemen, nope. A very busy day when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let me start out with you, Harry. Give me your thoughts on all these re-signings. You get not only Nelson re-signed, you get Aaron Stinney re-signed, but of course, everybody, all eyes on Lavonte David, and now you got a new quarterback with the Bucs. Your thoughts. Welcome to the Sports Web.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for having me on. Hi, Ray. How are you?
Brother, good. How are you guys doing? I'm excited.
Long time no talk.
Right?
Are you excited, Pete?
I'm always excited.
Are you excited, Ray?
I'm absolutely excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
At least I'm not asking you guys, what did you have for dinner? No, Lavonte David looks like he's going to get signed. It does appear that way.
Well,
I thought they were saving that money because they wanted to go ahead and sign Baker Mayfield. It really didn't cost them that much to make that move.
Harry, that's done. That's a done deal. Lavonte David.
So, Pete, Lavonte David ties back to 12 years ago, wore the creamsicles, if you will, the Buccaneer Bucco Bruce, and now in 2023, I was conflicted because I was like, Tom Brady's never going to wear the throwbacks. You know what? That Tom Brady, that 3-year period, that was special. That was a championship. That's the greatest of all time. But I'm okay with the fact that the big leading story into the throwbacks in 2023 is that Lavonte will get a chance to wear those throwbacks. And that game right there, wherever that game is and whoever it's against, is going to be lit.
Absolutely. Harry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
I was saying I was hoping that he was going to get re-signed. Thank you for explaining that to me. But what I was trying to tell you is I thought they saved all that money because I didn't know how much money it was going to cost to get, a quarterback like Baker Mayfield. To be honest with you, the Buccaneers absolutely stole him. But then again, he's on a prove-it deal. It's just as simple as that.
Well, I definitely think he's on a prove-it deal at the end of the day.
He's also being paid for backup money. So let's not get too fooled here, okay? This is Kyle Trask's team as of now. The only way Kyle Trask does not play for this team this upcoming year is A, if he gets injured, or B, he sucks in the first 4 or 5 games.
And see, I completely disagree with you. I think this is a move where you've got Baker making $8 million.
Of course you do, Pete.
Trask is making
He's not make. He can make up to $8 million. His guaranteed is $4 million, Peter.
There's a reason why they brought in Baker Mayfield in the first place. Not only is he going to have an advantage over Trask because he knows this Rams offense, which, by the way, Dave Canales may be running some sort of that. But on top of it, you could have signed any other backup and you signed a number 1 pick at 27 years old. I feel like this is not Kyle Trask's job to lose at this point. I tell you what, we asked for phone calls, guys. Let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution.
We didn't ask for any.
From? We did, absolutely.
Always.
What's up? This is Eric from Tampa.
Eric, my guy.
What's up,
Sorry,
you guys?
What's going on, buddy?
It's feeling great, man.
Yeah, what do you think about the moves they made today?
I love them.
Yeah? What
Great.
do you love about them? Shut up, Harry. Be quiet.
Lavonte Davis back, big bro.
Yep, I think
Super Bowl, baby, right? Come on,
No.
say it.
Hey,
stop. Don't
nobody-
start, Harry. Go ahead.
Come on, Peter. Got to say it's Super Bowl or bust.
No,
you
I'm
finally,
not-
Peter. You finally got somebody.
I'm
Hold
not
on, Peter.
saying-
It's not. What are you? You're not on Lamar's Jackson. You're not swinging again, Pete.
Hey,
Okay.
listen, I wasn't the only one that brought up Lamar Jackson, but if you're a Bucs fan and you know what you know about
Yo, Pete, the thing is, Pete, Eric and I were on live today on Cup of Ray, and Eric
Yes, he was.
we were talking about Lamar Jackson, and nobody's lining up for that cat, the 2019 MVP, the guy that was drafted 32 out of Louisville by the Ravens, who fell on him. And Eric, you and I were talking about it, but then the Baker stuff happened, and I think at the end of the day, for me, the feeling is just Jason Light and our Buccaneers just keep on winning that cycle. It's happened since before the pandemic. It happened during the pandemic, and Lord knows it's still happening post-pandemic.
Well, absolutely. And I tell you right now,
Yes,
Eric, you have to be happy.
Just go off the board. Another running back is gone.
Right. Jamal Williams is signed with the Saints, and then you also have Miles Sanders.
You're an hour late, Eric.
Signed with
Alexander Baptist. He just got signed.
Madison, Alexander Madison.
Oh, Madison. Who signed him?
With them?
He went back to the Vikings.
Well, there you go. And then
Well, that's because Dalvin Cook's going to be gone.
that's what we were trying to do.
Stoke the flames, Harry. Stoke the
No,
flames.
it is. I mean, but then again, nobody remembers when the Greek said that the Buccaneers had the best chance.
Eric,
of
we're gonna let
signing.
you go. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks,
All right?
Eric. Appreciate it.
brother.
But no one wants to remember the fact when the Greek came on and was talking about, hey, what potential free agent quarterbacks can come here? Could it be, Baker? And then I started saying no toward the end because I figured there would be too many teams vying for his options. But Peter, let's go back 4 or 5 weeks when we were talking about mid-tier quarterbacks.
Sure.
And everybody's heads was in the clouds. We're going to go get Aaron Rodgers. Oh, we're going to go get, the 26-year-old phenom who can't stay healthy. We're going to go get Jesus Christ to go sit on this team as well. Will you stop it?
We
They
never
got
said-
Baker Mayfield.
We never mentioned Aaron Rodgers on this show.
And hold on.
Hold on.
And Ray is a fan
Stop
of Baker Mayfield.
Stop patting yourself on the back there.
Well, hang on. Let me turn around. Ray, give it to me, buddy, would you?
Oh, God. Get out of here with that.
This guy.
Oh, yeah,
All right,
Ray. A little more to the
guys.
left.
Guys, let's go out to the phone lines here. Alex, welcome to the Evolution Hour with yours.
My
truly,
man.
along with the Greek himself. Of course, Harry the Greek and Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. What do you have to say, my friend?
Well, let's talk about a great day if you're a Bucs fan. I know we've finally got the quarterback situation handled. Let's start with that.
Right.
I'm very happy with that, actually. A lot of people are upset about that. Some people wanted the guys like Derek Carr or there's a lot.
Oh yeah, I forgot Derek Carr. That was for you first. And by the way, Alec, how come you're not saying? You come into the Greeks' home, you don't even pay homage to Tampa Bay Ray or Peter, or you don't even say hello. You just start talking.
First, there's everybody.
The ring, baby, kiss it.
I'm sorry. What's up, guys?
How you doing?
How about
That's
that?
a lot better.
All right, go ahead.
But anyway, no. Starting with that, I'm actually okay with that. I think Baker Mayfield has a lot to offer. He's still kind of young. Got to remember, the Bucs might have a good opportunity with maybe there's a couple rumors with having Zeke come in here. We'll see what happens with that, which will get us good back in the running game.
Now, I thought the room got smarter there for a minute.
I haven't really gotten to see what he did last year, but if we can get back into the run game, also people always say, well, Baker's trash. Baker's trash. But you got to remember, Baker also never had a Mike Evans and a Chris Godwin.
Correct.
Brother, great
Good
point. Great point. Never had a pair of tandem, probably the best receiving core in the entire National Football League. You add in a young Kate Otten and a O'Keefe, but an offensive line tied together. And I would pose, he was with Cleveland Browns, and we're like, oh, he's got Nick Chubb and he's got Odell, who is on his way out, and Jarvis Landry, who knew what was going on there.
But
now you come into a stuff, and you're also talking about a brand new offensive coordinator in Canales and putting together an offensive with this team, with the Todd Bowles defense, and what a Baker Mayfield can do. But let's not forget, guys, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Baker is the only walk-on to ever win the Heisman Trophy. The kid has got an arm. He's a great player, and he's a team player. But let's not forget, going into 2023, this is going to be a quarterback battle between the third-year incumbent in Kyle Trask, I say that with tongue-in-cheek, and a Baker Mayfield. And what else could you ask for, Alec?
No. And I was just getting ready to say that. Do not count out the fact that I still think Kyle Trask may actually start snapping the football first. It's a possibility. My personal,
he is.
Could happen.
Whether that happens or not, we'll see. But I still think if I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I give Kyle Trask the opportunity to see if he knows how to run a playbook. That's the thing about it. A lot of people are saying, well, no, I'm sorry. A lot of people are putting him down, but the fact is Kyle Trask very well may or may not know how to run a playbook.
I've never put him down.
Oh, yes, you did. You said this organization was doom and gloom.
Hold on
they should go to hell, tear it all down.
Let me go ahead and defend myself here as I
tear it all down. The life's coming to an end. Jesus has come back to earth.
Because you keep on saying that Kyle is the Jesus and he's the
guy. No, I didn't say he was Jesus. He will forgive you of your sins.
Yes, you did. You did. You put that out there. And what I've said is a lot of people are saying that it's a tank job, that it's a tear down. I said, tear it down if you want to. It's not going to help if that's what you want, because a lot of people say, well, Kyle Trask starts, then it's going to be a 3 or 4 win team. My thing has been from the very beginning, I have doubts about somebody who's only thrown 9 passes in the league. And when I have to
agree on that.
And I agree with them too on that.
That's all I've said.
That's when I said, I don't believe that we do. Oh, I'm sorry. I said that I don't believe that Kyle Trask may or may not know how to basically play our playbook. Hence the reason why they signed a guy like Baker Mayfield, because I believe Baker Mayfield has a lot of potential. A lot of people don't see that. A lot of people disagree. But I think the Bucs did a very good job. A lot of people were down the front office. I gotta say, it's like the Rays, okay? A lot of people put the Rays down. They got the lowest payroll.
It's not like the Rays. It's nothing.
Yeah, don't go there, Alex. Don't go there, buddy. You're gonna hear a diatribe. You're gonna hear a diatribe that you're never gonna forget. Don't go to the Rays.
You started them off.
Okay, but listen.
Nothing like the Rays.
I'm using the cap space. I'm using the cap space as that example.
Just to be known, Alec, I agree with you.
They don't even know. How would you agree?
And so does Ray.
Of course.
Guys,
listen to me. When you're comparing the Rays to the Bucs, that's a fallacy.
Example.
It's not a good example because payroll. The Bucs spend over. Everybody was saying the cap problems and all this other stuff. They're always in. The attitude is they're going all in to win. The Rays have never done that in the whole history. So don't come on this.
I agree with you, Alex.
I was just using the cap space as that one.
There's no comparison. The Rays don't have any cap.
No, Alex, I'm going to back Alex.
Alex, please just agree with them.
We're talking. You're talking all over me at this point. There is no comparison at this point when it comes to the Bucs and the Rays. That organization wants to go all in. That organization has won a Super Bowl. That organization has had 3 straight playoff appearances. There is no comparison with the Rays at all.
I wanted to say this, though. But
we're back.
Again,
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I once again commend Jason Light for coming out and doing what he did today. I think he did a great job today overall.
Best GM in football.
I just wanted to call and say that.
You're right, Pete. Can we move on now?
I like what he did today. I like getting back Lavonte David. That is a guy you do not let walk. I would have been pissed if they would have let him walk, but they did a great job today. I'm very happy with Baker Mayfield.
And Alex, can I ask you a question real quick, brother? As much as talented as Lavonte David is and what he means to this defense, didn't you have to have a Lavonte for the emotional support, for the fact that this guy's going to lead this defense?
It's not just about what he does on the field, but it's what he does in the locker room as well. You got to remember, the Bucs don't. The defense and the offense needs what I like to call like a captain. That is your captain. That's your
brother. Yes.
You got to have that one guy, and I'm so happy that they brought him back. That's just one guy that I thought was going to go, and I didn't want to go. But overall, guys, I just wanted to call and say that I'm very happy with the Bucs front office today. I think they did a great job. I don't know, in my personal opinion, I know Peter don't like this, but I do think Kyle Trask will start. We'll see how he does game 1.
He will. He will.
He may start. But at the end of the day, he may start.
King Peter, I know this is your show, but sometimes we have to get a word in edgewise, King Peter.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with you, Alex. I agree with you, Alex. But just do me a favor, buddy. Just
hit that share button.
Just hit the share button and succumb to the fact.
I want to say, it's the last thing I want to say.
Go ahead.
Say, though, I do believe, though, but listen, I do believe that the Bucs did not make Baker in here as your starting quarterback. I think, in my personal opinion, they wanted to bring another quarterback to give Kyle Trask that opportunity that he deserves. My opinion.
There you go.
He deserves
it.
He
deserves it. He absolutely deserves it if he beats Baker Mayfield in the quarterback competition.
I'm going to speak on behalf of Alex here, and he's going to appreciate this. He just wants everybody to know that none of this credit goes to the Glazers, okay? This goes to Jason Light and his staff, not to the Glazers.
That's incorrect.
The Glazers are horrible, right, Alex?
They're not horrible. They're not. Stop
right,
saying
Alex?
That. They're not. They're not horrible. They're good
management. We love you guys.
All right. Thanks.
We love you too, Alex. Thanks for calling, Alex.
Alex, good stuff, brother.
I
love Alex.
The same type of chain that I'm swinging on with Lamar Jackson, Harry, is the same type of chain you're swinging on when you talk about Kyle Trask and David.
It's not really quite a chain, Pete.
Well,
okay?
It must be.
It must be a rope.
It's like a ball and chain because I want to choke myself with it every time I say anything about Kyle Trask and Lamar Jackson. We're on Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. Of course,
he shall forgive you of your sins, Peter Blake.
Please stop being
the truth shall set you free.
Please, I don't need that type of controversy on this show.
Pete, do you like the AB? I got the ABC always be celebrating. I had to go with this in my back shot tonight. Somebody commented.
Ray, this segment was brought to you by Zephyr Hills.
I'm just telling you because, man, Peter, I did not. I'll be honest with you. We knew that the
crack
NFL
cocaine.
We knew the NFL. We knew the NFL New Year started at
sucks.
We knew the NFL New Year started at 4 p.m.
Hang on, Peter's got something to say. Please,
but brother, always did we see the Bucs fans celebrating the way we are tonight?
No, it is really, really fun to watch exactly what's happening. It's a testimony on how good the general manager is for the Buccaneers and what they've been able to do. And for all you doubters out there that thought that this team was breaking up, zero chance. I'm telling you, and I've been preaching this and standing on a soapbox. This is a 10-win team minimum coming year.
We'll see about 10 wins.
They're not tearing this team down. They will tear it down next year if they're not successful.
I didn't say they were going to. I'm saying the fans were saying that. Let me go out to Ed. And
just ask Rodgers Shoe. He'll tell you.
Oh, God. Let me go out to the phone lines. Ed, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper, pain in my ass.
The Greek a little bit here. What is the problem with the Glazer family, man?
He's nothing.
What's the problem with what, Ed?
Hello?
Huh? Ed, be careful, man. You know I don't got a job, okay, man? Be nice to the Greek.
I got a question, Mr. Greek. How many Super Bowl wins do the Chicago Bears have?
Oh.
I didn't say anything about it. They only got one Super Bowl win. You're the best. Ed, I swear to God, buddy, you should be sitting in this seat because you're just so much. Actually, Ed, you should be sitting in that seat over here.
Wait,
right there.
Listen,
No.
Wait, this guy?
I just don't understand. The Greek has always got something. Peter doesn't like the Glazers, or he's got sometimes he's even
the Glazers suck because they suck. They do. The Glazers are no good. If it wasn't for Jason Light, this team would be nowhere, and you know it. That's the sad thing about it. Do me a favor, Tarzan. Stop swinging off of it, okay? Or stirring the shit soup here.
Stirring that soup. Yes, you are.
Hold on, Mr. Greek. I agree. I want to say that you're giving Jason Light a lot of credit. You are, but
love Jason Light. He loves it.
The best general manager in all of football.
2002. Was he with the Bucs?
No, he was with the Patriots.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, what does that have to do with the price of eggs in China?
What I'm saying
Simple,
is,
but they didn't have Jason Light, and they went to the Super Bowl.
All right.
Hello?
You know, football expert, I got a question for you. How many games did the Buccaneers win this year, and who's going to be quarterback on week 1?
Oh, that's
now
a
that is a
two-parter.
very good question. If they could get the, I'm actually very optimistic. If they could get a couple of linemen, experienced linemen, some veteran linemen, for that offensive line, I think they're going to win 10 games.
okay. Well, he agrees with you there, Harry.
There you go.
So, all right, Ed. What else?
That's if they can get a couple of linemen.
Oh, geez.
In 2002, Jason Light was the New England Patriots Assistant Director of Player Personnel. So, yeah, I wanted to make sure I was right on that. So, Ed brought that in there, but I don't know what that had to do with the price of the eggs in China there, Mr. Harry the Greek.
It has a lot to do with the fact that he doesn't like the Glazers. I don't understand.
And that's okay, but I don't think the Glazers.
I do have one question.
Okay,
and it's directed to you, Peter, and it's directed to you, Ray, not you, Ed.
Yeah.
So Ed can hear with his own 2 ears. This is a 2-part question. Who did I say is going to win the NFC South this year?
You said the Bucs were going to.
Okay, hold on. And how many wins did I say the Buccaneers are going to have?
You said 10 wins.
10 wins, yeah.
Minimum 10 wins.
Yes.
Okay, so get off my jockstrap, okay, Ed?
Okay, but he's just calling you out about the Glazers, and I agree with you because I think the Glazers do everything.
Well, I think that Harry's Harry,
you
better be blowing smoke. You better no. I tell you what, Harry, bro, you know I love you, but I thought you were tongue in cheek. If you got anything to say about these Glazers, not just about Malcolm, you know, the patriarch of this family and what he did and what he, you know, I drove by, guys, true story. I drove down 58th Street in Pinellas Park today. I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and I drove right by the tree that I was sitting under in 1995 when we listened to the press conference. I was working for the city out in Public Works, and they announced that the Glazers had bought the Buccaneers from the three-person trust that the Culverhouse family put together. And it's so funny because I remembered exactly where I was sitting when that occurred. I drove by it today, and I thought, it's funny how we don't remember certain times in our lives. I remember when my children were born, my marriage day. I remember certain things, but I remember where I was sitting when the Glazer family and Harry, I'm not trying to say that Brian or Joel or Darcy Glazer Kasowitz are anything better than Malcolm or what they are, but let's be honest, this Glazer family, as much as I put Jason Light in the top 5 or 10 in the NFL as GMs, I'll put this Glazer family in the top 15, and maybe higher any day of the week.
I'll agree with you as a top 5 with the father. I just wasn't as happy with what the kids have done. That's my own personal opinion. My opinion reflects nothing to do with Peter Blake or Tampa Bay Ray. And the reason why I say that is because this organization changes coaches like they change underwear. Let me go ahead and repeat it. And then you have to interview 11, not from me, from someone that knows Tampa Bay sports even more so than myself, and his name is Rock Riley. 11 different interviews to find an offensive coordinator.
That's not the Glazers' fault.
It wasn't the Glazers. It wasn't
yeah,
because they feared who they'd work
that's
for.
not the
I think it
Glazers'
was
a
fault.
lot of that has to.
That's
a lot of the people.
That's the situation. They've allowed the football people to handle those decision making. That's what it comes down to.
Love
And-
the father and the Glazers. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. One of the best business minds of all time.
Ed, go ahead.
They are the savior of this franchise. This franchise was the worst franchise in the history of professional sports until the Glazers came along.
Yeah,
Brother, those are true words right there.
I mean,
I'll
I
back
look.
that up with an amen.
There have been years where they have saved money. There have been years where they made bad decisions and fired coaches too soon and everything like that. But lately, I think you could say the last 5 to 10 years, they've done a damn good job. And you're exactly right.
job.
They won 2 Super Bowls. I get it. They have their faults, but I would rather have the Glazers all day long than have Jerry Jones or Daniel Snyder or Mark Davis. What the hell are the Raiders doing in free agency? Ed, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you as always. Use that second call. Let's get out to my
Love
guest
you, Ed. Thanks for
who
calling.
is waiting. Here we go. All right, former Coach Scout and now a media member of Nice
Leah.
Productions
That's
and
scary.
Cub Sports. Don't start here.
There you go. There you
Look
go.
at that
Leo.
guy.
Purpose. Leo Haggerty, as we're talking here, we'll get out to the comments. Hold up, webheads. We'll get out to them, but it's been a busy day here.
Hi, Leo.
Give me your thoughts. Welcome to the Sports Web here on a wild Wednesday edition.
You know what, guys? I don't know if I want to play in that 3-ring circus you have tonight. This is bizarre. I mean,
We love you, Leo.
you know, it's nice that they let those 2 guys out of the home to call, but you know, that's insanity. Those 2 guys. I mean,
Well,
the worst thing is they talk up. I thought, my God, what is that guy? 12? It's nuts. But
well, we love Ed. We love Alex. They're passionate about it.
Oh,
We
yeah,
always
they are.
say on this show that they want to bring the passion. I think a lot of people are bringing passion today because of what the Bucs did, not only signing a Baker
Leo's got my
Mayfield.
back at least.
I got your back too. I'm just saying I don't
At least my buddy Leo over here.
I'm saying I don't hate the Glazers like you do. I think they've done a good
I don't
job.
hate the Glazers. Hate is a
Glazers?
very bad word, okay? Hate is a very bad word.
yeah.
I just don't like the past year and a half what the Glazers have done. And
Let
what
me-
not for a lack of what they done and what they allowed to happen.
Can I let
with
you
this
can I ask you
organization.
something? Can I ask you
Yes.
something? Well, you guys all on the panel, you got the greatest quarterback of all time,
Mm-hmm.
right? He comes to your team. You know he gives you the best opportunity to win. What would you do? Are you going to take the coach's side? Are you going to take the offensive coordinator's side? Or are you going to cater to the greatest quarterback of all time?
You know what? That's a great question, Peter.
Thank you.
And I'm going to answer this with, and I hope you can appreciate my candor when I say this.
Sure.
There's no one player, no matter if you're the GOAT or not, that is above the team. What that name represents across your chest and that emblem that's on your head is a representative of what happened when this organization started back in 1975. Okay. He did not want to play for this team. And I'm referring to TB12. And they should have let him out of his contract. They could have.
No.
Okay.
They
They
couldn't.
could
You
have.
know
They
why?
could have. They
Because
could have
it
gave
is-
him up for a trade.
It is a
They didn't-
contract. And
It's you're correct, but they could have traded him. There were teams that were out there that wanted him, but no. This organization says you're under contract and you are going to play for this organization if you
that's
want
how
to
it
play.
is.
And he said, "Well, you know what? That head coach can't be my head coach anymore." And to me, that is a puppet master, sir. And I don't agree with that.
Now,
would have
Harry, I
torn
want to
this
say
team
this,
down.
though. You're talking about with the Glazers, the entire family from the top on down through Jason Light, and you look at the current circus, and Leo, I'm glad you referenced circus, the circus that's going on between the Packers, the Jets, and one Aaron Rodgers. And I would say this, that in the grand scheme and the historical view of everything that happened in the last couple of years, what Jason Light and this Buccaneers organization did with all the trials and tribulations, with all that real stuff that was going on and the loss of 3 Pro Bowl offensive linemen and what happened there, I think that the Buccaneers, the owners, Jason Light, and the entire team handled it magnificently. So if nothing else, I give him credit for that.
And look, again, nothing is perfect, but if Tom Brady goes to the Chicago Bears and you're the owner, the general manager here, you're going to do everything you can to make sure that he's taken care of because you know that he gives you the best chance to win.
You don't
And that's
fire
why-
your head coach.
You know what, guys? I'm going to disagree with that statement, Peter,
Okay.
simply because he gave you the best chance to win 2 years ago,
Okay.
not last year.
That's true.
You can see Father Time is undefeated, and Father Time took a big chunk of number 12 last year.
True.
He was nowhere near what he was the 2 previous years with the Buccaneers. And again, that's just something we needed to deal with. I can't believe that someone in that room, Jason Light, the coaches, didn't just say, hey, maybe we need to part with Tom Brady now because the guy's 45 years old.
But
He doesn't give us a good chance to win.
Leo, can I ask you a question, though? Because we remember it. Go back to Selection Sunday 2022, and that was when Tom announced via Instagram that he was coming back for that 23rd season. I know because I was literally 150 yards over that way on live when it happened. Do you think, Leo, the Buccaneers, were they seriously involved in that run for Deshaun Watson? And did that have anything to do with the fact that Tom Brady, after realizing that the Dolphins wasn't going to happen, and he definitely had it, and he was going to want to play another year, do you think that had something to do with the fact that he announced the way he did and the Buccaneers are pretty much on the hook for that and took him out of that? Or were they ever in that sweepstakes for Deshaun Watson that you know of?
I don't think they were. Again, they had to do their due diligence. That's just the way it is. But I don't think it became serious enough where it was between Deshaun Watson and Tom Brady. Simply because as soon as Brady came back and said, hey, I'm back, that shut the door on everything else.
Absolutely.
That's it. And again, I think, at the end of the day, that their scouts know, that the coaching know, they're going to run it back any way it goes. They don't want to be that team that says, okay, Tom Brady, you can go off. And they didn't want to look bad at the end of the day.
You know what, Peter? But why not? There's got to be a time that you cut the cord.
Because
and the time to cut the cord was last year.
Because here's the thing. If he goes down to the Miami Dolphins and he wins a Super Bowl, or he goes to the San Francisco 49ers, then you're the team that is criticized for that. You're the team in NFL history that is criticized for it. Now, you did everything.
Peter, now this is the team that's being criticized for keeping the guy a year longer than he wanted to be here, and someone that just didn't want to play.
Harry.
So you're in a catch-22
and getting rid of a head coach that won a Super Bowl.
And he put you in a $35 million cap hell.
I agree with that, but you knew what you were getting into when you got Tom Brady. You knew that if you were going all
you didn't know you were going to be in this situation.
Hey guys, there's a reason why the reason why the Buccaneers took down those extra seats in the south end zone above the area there the moment Tom Brady actually did retire, because I'm not trying to go back to you, Harry, and say that the Glazers are on the hook for being something that I don't know what, but let's be honest. I mean, Leo, you can agree with this. At the end of the day, Tom Brady as a Buccaneers quarterback in 2022 still meant you were going to sell out every home game and every game on the road pretty much, because that's what people wanted to see.
It's all about this. And unfortunately,
that's what it always is about. I mean, it's always about that. There's nothing that's ever changed. Even with your Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, when he got Doug Collins fired, you didn't hate Michael Jordan. You didn't hate
then they went on to win six.
Okay, but he still got a coach fired.
I understand that. And that was the whole thing I was saying. It was successful for them. It wasn't successful for the Buccaneers.
Okay, but they did the best.
And I did, and let it be on the record, I did not agree with what Michael Jordan did even back then.
Okay, but you still watch Michael Jordan, and you still love Michael Jordan, and you still think that Michael Jordan is the greatest.
And I still love Tom Brady because I love what Tom Brady has done for the game. What I didn't appreciate is what he did for this team.
But that's
Can I ask a question?
That's not.
And by the way, Michael Jordan never left the Bulls in a position that Tom Brady left the Buccaneers.
I got to ask Leo a question.
Let's make that clear.
Okay.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Yes, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know how we got onto this narrative, because I'm still talking about free agent frenzy in the new NFL year. I wanted to ask Leo. Leo, I was talking today. We talked just 3 or 4 years ago about the legal tampering period, which in itself is kind of an idiotic way to say it, but the free agent frenzy and all this, the NFL, there really is no more off season. We say that too, but is it going to continue getting crazy? Are we going to see that these guys, when they start agreeing to these contracts during that 2-day free agency frenzy or that tampering period, eventually other teams will come in and say, oh, you agreed to 3 years and $25 million? We'll agree to 3.5 years and $32 million. Leo, is it going to continue getting crazier, or have we seen the maximum we're going to see in this craziness with free agency starting every year?
You know what, guys? I think what's going to happen for the NFL to survive is they're going to have to start cutting contracts back. You can't be dropping 1/4 to 1/3 of your salary cap on one player. They're going to have to sit down with some agents, the NFLPA, and say, hey, look, we got to scale this back simply because they can't continue to exist under this model where they're paying quarterbacks 30, 40, 50 million a season. That's just not going to work.
The genie's out of the bottle. I got to tell you right now, and everybody's saying, well, you can't afford this to one player. It's called inflation, and it's already out there. Deshaun Watson got the guaranteed money. The owners, they're trying to kill the market. They're not going to be able to because there's other quarterbacks coming up there, and you may be right.
It's highway robbery.
That may be.
I mean,
but it's
are you going to pay?
You
mean to tell me you think that Daniel Jones was worth
God.
that
No,
kind
it's a
of money?
perfect
Are you
example there.
serious?
Guys, that is the market. That is what the market has
So
been.
if Daniel Jones is going to get that kind of money, can you imagine if Justin Fields continues on the trend that he's having, what he's going to get? What's he going to get? $75 million a year?
Of course.
Happy trails, baby. Goodbye.
No, it's not going to go anywhere because the NFL is king. They're going to continue to make money. They're going to continue to be a multi-billion-dollar
I don't agree.
revenue. Everybody's saying they're going to go poor. Guys, these teams are not going poor. These owners are not going poor.
But Pete, the reason why you don't got a Lamar Jackson signed as of right now tonight is because the Haslams give Deshaun Watson that guaranteed contract, and they're coming. Guaranteed contracts are coming. You can thank chronic traumatic encephalopathy. You can thank the fact that the NFL is the biggest and most money-producing sport of all. But they're coming.
You can thank gambling.
But
you can take legalized gambling.
And that is the point, gentlemen. That's the reason why it's not going away, because TV dollars are going to be in there. Gambling dollars are going to be in there. DraftKings, all those people are going to pay. So it's not like the money is going to dry up. So yes, when we were looking back a couple years ago and talking about Patrick Mahomes getting a $500 million contract, guess what? That is a bargain at this point. These contracts are going to continue to go up. People are going to continue to pay these
real quick.
prices.
That's a great point, Pete. Real quick. What's the second most flashiest position on a football team? Ray.
Wide receiver.
Okay, wrong. Peter.
Defensive man.
Wrong. Leo.
Flashiest?
Yep, the flashiest. Who's getting the most looks?
Cornerbacks.
The most looks a quarterback. The second
Kicker.
most looks
Kicker.
There you go. No.
Ray.
A running back.
This guy sucks.
A running back. He's touching the ball more so.
But Harry, running back. Are you kidding
Hold
me?
on. Let me finish. There's a point that I'm trying to make.
Okay.
A quarterback, next to a quarterback, the running back touches the ball the most on a football team. More so than a wide receiver in most cases.
That's true.
Definitely a lot more than a defensive player.
The center.
So hold on. So a running back is not entitled to make more than $10 million a year, but you're going to pay a quarterback.
This is why.
$70 million a year. Get out of here.
I'll tell you why. Because you can get a running back in the later rounds. By the way,
you can get a quarterback too.
No, not in the later rounds. No, you can't. You have
Tom
to.
Brady. Tom Brady.
You walked right into that. Boom.
Oh, be quiet. Shut up.
You walked into that face first, Peter.
Oh,
guys, here's what's going to happen.
Right,
and Peter, you brought up the point about the networks. Here's where collusion's going to come in.
Collusion.
Fox,
I love it.
CBS, NBC, ESPN, they're going to sit down and say, guys, we got to back off of this. Let's agree to only pay X amount of dollars to the NFL. That's what's going to happen.
Wow.
And then the NFL is going to have to say, okay, here's what we're dealing with. And again, what the salary cap is the money each team gets from TV revenue. That doesn't cost the team a cent. So it's all TV revenue. But when that TV revenue goes down, look out.
Well, hey, about
you want to
Leo,
know? You know how you make parity in the NFL, Ray? Let's
No.
just say every team has a $200 million cap. And out of that $200 million every year, that money has to be distributed equally on defense as it is offense. You want to talk about something crazy? Tell a quarterback he's got to make the same kind of money as an offensive tackle.
Well, it's not going to happen.
Hey,
Well,
Harry,
here-
Well, I'm
well,
just saying, you want to see parity. You want to see 32 really good football teams? Try that.
But
Well, I
here's
mean-
the
Harry,
thing,
I got a
guys.
better one. I got a better one for you.
Go ahead, Leo.
Here's how you get parity. Guaranteed contracts for everybody. And here's
Yeah.
why.
Boom.
When you make a mistake on
That's
a
true.
player, you got to eat that money. You can't just say, oh, it's non-guaranteed money. I can throw it away. See, the NFL is the only league that doesn't have guaranteed contracts. And that's basically because,
And that'll drop salaries, Leo.
in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And again, I can't believe somebody in the NFL hasn't figured that out on a team and say, hey, let's just guarantee everything.
The
Because,
NFLPA
again,
won't allow it.
Well, and of course they won't. And again, the contracts continue to go up. Values of those players when it comes to franchise tags are going up every year. So, I think it's much to do about nothing. It's
I
something.
think the
great.
owners need to go on strike.
The owners are not going to go on strike. You know why?
I think the owners should go on strike.
They're the ones that are paying the contracts. They're the ones that are making the money. Again, I keep on telling you, you want to make an owner squirm 10 times out of 10, ask them to show you their books. They'll never.
Oh, it ain't gonna happen.
Because
Yeah.
they're making more money than anybody's.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what, Peter? They're not squirming about the contracts because it's all the TV money.
That's
All
it.
they
Well, and
gotta
here's
do
the
is
thing.
yeah.
Hey guys, here's the thing now. In today's NFL, you see a Matt Stafford, you see a LA Rams are trading 2 number ones to trade not Carson Wentz, but to trade the quarterback to Detroit to eat the Matt Stafford contract. You see these teams you see a team like this Lamar Jackson and these teams are going to be out there bidding. And the truth is that there's so many teams these days that think that they're that one player away. And I don't want to call it the Tom Brady effect because it probably goes back longer than that. But this is also good for legalized gambling. This is also good for everything else because you know what? Whereas in the old NFL, we kind of knew every year the 10 teams that had a shot and there was always going to be that one Cinderella we hoped for. Now we've got 25 owners and teams lining up on legal tampering period or free agency day that actually think they're that one player away. And it's going to cause a lot of teams to make some bad decisions. But you know what, Harry? At the end of the day, that parity is probably going to come even stronger because of those bad decisions.
Great point, Ray.
Great point. As always, guys, we're on the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. Best of the Bay, you got Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. A pain in my ass, but I love him to death. He's the best co-host out there besides Tampa Bay Ray. And of course, you got the legend.
Oh, so I'm behind Tampa Bay Ray.
No,
No, you're in front.
You said besides Tampa Bay Ray.
no.
Ray, you can have my spot.
Harry,
I got
don't-
plenty. I'd rather
Harry.
watch Survivor.
Harry, don't walk in front of me. I may not follow. Don't
You
walk
guys-
behind me. I may not lead. Walk beside me and be my friend.
Listen, Harry's my
Harry,
co-host.
you know what? After what Peter called you, I'm not going to call you Harry the Greek anymore. I'm going to call you Hemorrhoid the Greek.
Oh my gosh, that's great! I love
Oh, that kind of hits home. Okay,
Is there
so
a
let's be
cream for
careful.
that? Is there a
Huh?
cream for that?
it. All right, listen, let's hold off on the calls. I see Roger and Alex. You guys are trying to call. Let's hold off.
You
Let me
know,
go
you know
ahead.
what I like the most
What's that?
is I have absolutely even influenced Leo Haggerty. I have officially done my job.
Yes.
Yes,
And you know what? No one's giving me credit for this. But remember, I said last week, the week before, and the week before that the Buccaneers starting quarterback was not on the roster.
I
Guess
agree
what?
with
He's
you.
on the roster now.
You're exactly right. Let's go into that. Baker Mayfield today, $8.5 million.
Love it.
Former first-round pick of 2018. Harry, my co-host, has been saying for the last month that this should be the guy that they look at because there is potential. You can get him for $8.5 million. You look at his numbers: 102 touchdowns, 64 interceptions. Very polarizing figure, if you will, here, Leo. What do you think about this move? And does this signal possibly a quarterback competition, in your opinion,
Of course.
or the fact that maybe they're not so confident in Kyle Trask after all? What do you say?
There's no quarterback competition. Baker Mayfield's a starter. He's got to lose the job.
What?
That's just simply
Sounds
the
like
way it is.
sounds like Carolina again, though. It sounds like we're back
But-
with Matt Rule,
guys,
Carolina
keep in mind.
Panthers.
But
Keep
Leo,
in
I have a
mind.
question for you. If they do start him, what's that say about about Kyle Trask. I mean, would you agree that maybe this is Kyle Trask's job to lose? I think that I don't think if Kyle
so.
Trask
wouldn't
comes out
say
of the
that,
gate
though,
strong
Harry.
enough, then you bring in Baker Mayfield. Because if they don't do that, now you're admitting that you wasted a second-round draft pick on a quarterback.
Well, the Browns have admitted they wasted the first overall on a quarterback in 2018.
Let's call it for what it is. You have your head coach fired. I mean, this organization's capable of doing anything. So you're telling me they're just willing to let this guy go out to the trash can?
Let's look at a lot of things. Trask has been here 2 years, correct?
Correct.
How many years did Aaron Rodgers sit before he played?
4.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Okay.
The fourth year, right?
Same thing here. Kyle Trask sitting another year is not a problem.
That's true.
Again, the Buccaneers right now are on the cusp of making a run in the NFC South and into the playoffs.
Again,
They're not going to be able to do that when they're trying to groom basically a rookie quarterback the first 6, 7, 8 games.
Say it again, please, because I've been preaching
that.
that. I have been preaching that. Please say it again.
Go ahead, Leo.
Yeah, you don't want to go with a rookie quarterback and
Not that part.
live with it for 6, 7, 8 games, because that's what it's going to take. It's nothing against Kyle Trask. It's just this team right now needs some veteran leadership under center, especially now, Peter, because that left tackle spot is questionable.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, guys, it's looking like it's going to be Tristan Wirfs there at the left side. It looks like they're going to have on that left guard spot. This has been the talk. I mean, this is
okay. I haven't heard any of that talk other than
you. I mean, it's not just me, buddy, smart ass. It is
I'm not being a smart ass.
I'll tell you what I've heard. I'll tell you what I've heard.
I will tell you right now. It has been out there with Pewter Report. It's been out there at ESPN. There's been other sources out there that have said, right, because I wasn't.
No, I didn't say you weren't. You just mentioned ESPN, and I went, okay, that's credible.
You're a pain in the ass. All right. So left side there with
Hemorrhoid the Greek.
Hemorrhoid.
Okay. Tristan Wirfs at the left side. You got left guard there, Nick Leverett. I think you're going to go with Ryan Jensen, of course, back at the center. It certainly looks like they moved on from Shaq Mason. They saved $5 million. They picked up an extra 6th-round pick. Either Hansy there, Haggerty. They re-signed Aaron
Kenny's back. Yeah.
Right. And I think they're going to go with Haggerty at the right tackle spot. So,
but guys, the thing is, hey Pete, AQ Shipley's still training with Robert Hainsey every day. He's on the Pat McAfee show, and he was and I'm listening because he's letting him in, right? He's one of their in guys, and he's still training Hainsey at the center position. He's still training him in the zero guard technique, right? Not left for left tackle, not right for right tackle or guard or what have you. Still training him.
Well, and I think we lost him. I think that's it for Tampa Bay. Yes, you are still there. All right, so finish up with what Ray was saying, because I think it comes down to, guys, the bodies in the building at this point, especially Hand City. They wanted to get him back on that line. They felt like he did a good job. He's a better guard than the center at the end of the day. I think that's where they're going. Is that where you think they're going?
Harry, I have a question for both you and Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Other than Tristan Wirfs, does anybody on that offensive line scare you?
No, they don't scare me, but I think they've done a good enough job. And here's the thing.
Good enough doesn't get it done in the NFL.
I think you're improved without Donovan Smith. I think it's addition by subtraction. Let's just put that out there. I think a lot of the Lions' problems last year was Donovan Smith. I think also having Ryan Jensen back is a big-time get.
There's nobody in the line until Jensen can show me that he's completely healthy. I have to agree with that statement. I do think, honestly, this offensive line is going to be fine. I believe they still need to address that left tackle spot. And you know what? At number, 19 this year?
Yeah.
You're going to find a left tackle in the draft. I'm not kidding you. You're going to find one. There's some really good tackles in this draft, guys. You're not going to get the top 3. But I do believe
Wirfs was number 4, and he worked out pretty well, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yes,
he did. They had to trade up at 13, but here's the point, guys.
I think they're getting a left tackle in the first round.
I think they're moving out. I think they're moving out of 19. I think they're going to acquire picks. They're going to get more draft capital because they need more players. They have more.
Peter, moving out up or down?
Up.
Down.
No,
Down.
Downey's saying. But what I'm saying is, if you have one of the premier left tackles there, they don't move. They grab him, Pete. I firmly believe that.
I don't know if you draft a left tackle, especially with all the needs that you have when you have Tristan Wirfs already at the left tackle. I understand it. You can get a right tackle in the second round, right? I mean, Jason Light has shown this, the propensity, Leo Ward, of going after tackles, not necessarily in the first round, second, third round, something like that. It's much easier to draft a right
Skronsky is available.
Okay, then
They're going to grab him. You're going to make a left tackle.
All right, I'm going to hold off on the phone calls here, Ed. Call back. Alex,
Eddie.
Call back. Shut up, Harry. Leo, let me go back out to you, and then we'll get on with it here with Lavonte David. How surprised were you that he re-signed for the money that he was, 1 year, $7 million guaranteed? Surprised by that because all we heard was Jamel Dean was gone. Lavonte David is gone. Roger, hold up on the calls. Guys, hold up on the calls here. I know you want to ask Leo questions. I want to ask him a question too. Lavonte David, what did you think of that?
Key word, Peter, is guaranteed. That's $7 million. Bottom line.
Okay.
He could have got a contract for $10 million and only had $5 million guaranteed. The key part is the guaranteed money.
Guaranteed, baby.
That's huge.
My hats are off to what Jason Light was able to do. He saved some money by restructuring contracts, to try to get out of this cap hell that they're in. They ended up signing Jamal Dean, and they ended up getting Lavonte David back. That's just a testimony of how good this GM is. And then you get a quarterback who everybody wants to write off. I'm telling you now, you got the steal for the amount of money that you're going to be paying. You're going to be paying him. You got a steal in a quarterback.
And you know what, guys? What people don't realize is his last year in Cleveland, he played hurt. And I mean really hurt. And
they almost ruined him, Leo, didn't they?
But he lined up every week at quarterback. That's something you got to take into consideration, that the guy's a gamer.
Well, yes.
And when he finally got healthy out with the Rams, we saw what he can do. And again, I'm just concerned that you got a new offensive coordinator, you got a new quarterback, you got a new left tackle. That's not a recipe for success.
And that's why I say they're going to go with Tristan Wirfs at the left side, because it is so difficult to put a rookie on the left side. I'm not thinking it's dangerous. I think Tristan can handle it. He's been able to handle it since his rookie year. You know what was dangerous?
You know what? He played both sides at Iowa.
Correct.
He's a better right tackle, though.
Yes. I think if they're going to run
his body dynamic is better for the right side, Peter.
If they're going to run the football like Harry and I think they're going to run the football, you want him next to the best blocking offensive guard. I think it's right tackle.
All right. Speaking of running the football, I know, Leo, you got to go. I mean, what's your pitch count tonight? You good to go, my friend?
I got 5 more minutes, pal.
5 more minutes, pal. There we go.
6, would you? 6.
You shut up and be quiet.
This guy sucks.
And piggyback into what Leo said on a serious side. You don't want to mess with perfection. Right now, it's as close to perfect as you're going to get, especially on the right side of this Buccaneer line with Tristan Wirfs out there. He is a top 2 right tackle in this game. You can take a left tackle with this style of offense that you can draft. Even though he's green, being a rookie, going to make a few mistakes, it's not going to be as visible because this team's going to be run first oriented. That's going to take a lot of the pass rush off. So that can allow some of the inexperienced tackles, such as a left tackle or even a left guard, to go ahead and progress as the year goes on. Hate to keep bringing up Chicago. As atrocious as that line was, it kept getting better and better and better every week because they were running the football. I see the same vision for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, except I see a lot better vision for that offensive line and this team offensively.
Ezekiel Elliott. He's been rumored being talked about coming to Tampa Bay, possibly Cincinnati, because Cincinnati may be looking for a running back. Is that a flyer you're taking him on? Because at the end of the day, his yards per carry have gone down here, Leo. You got a big-time contract, but you need a second back to pair with Rashard White. And because you have Skip Pete as the new running back coach, of course, people would equate the connection. So Zeke Elliott in Tampa Bay, could you see that under a deal that you're not going to make a lot of money, but it's going to be a prove-it deal? Could you see that happening?
You know what, Peter? I can see it happening. And what people don't realize is Ezekiel Elliott may be the best pass blocker of any of the running backs in that league. That is huge. If you look at what happened in Dallas last year, just look at the 2 games they played against the Buccaneers. Ezekiel Elliott basically kept Dak Prescott upright. And that's huge. That's huge. So, again, yeah, he's not running the ball real well. But you know what, guys? Running backs, that's a misnomer. You got to be a catching back, and you got to be able to be a blocking back. Ezekiel Elliott checks all those boxes. Yeah, I can see him here, but he may want to go someplace else that has maybe a legitimate shot at a Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, you get Ezekiel Elliott, you rebuild that offensive line. Do you think Zeke would come here to start? Do you think the Bucs would start him, or do you think you go with Rashard White and have Zeke as somebody that spells White?
Well, I think the first thing that Ezekiel Elliott asks the team is my starter.
Right.
If they say, well, okay, let's talk to the next team.
Okay.
I don't think he's going anywhere to be the second fiddle. That's just me.
Okay, makes sense. Speaking of second fiddle, or I don't know what he was on today. It could have been Fiddler on the Roof. I don't know what he was on today. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, you didn't know that? When you say his name, you got to say he's the best player ever to play in Green Bay.
Right. I mean, I feel like his list of choices is like a watered-down version of a show on Disney Plus. You know, those superhero movies where you're looking forward to. It's almost like Tom Brady's choices. He had Gronk, Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette. And then you're talking about players that supposedly Green Bay, Leo, didn't give him. And then all of a sudden you want to bring back Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard. I mean, make some sense of this. He chooses the New York Jets. Is this a good move by the Jets at the end of the day?
Yeah.
We'll see if it transpires. You know, the Jets still have to create a package to, entice Green Bay to move him. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what Green Bay thinks they got if they get rid of Aaron Rodgers. They got Jordan Love, who has not shown anything yet. So that's just beyond me. Now, you put Aaron Rodgers on the Jets with that defense, man, them in Buffalo, they become the class of the whole AFC. You know, you got Kansas City, you got Buffalo. Now you got the Jets in that picture too.
I think the Jets. I think it's between. Dare I say this? Between the Jets and the Miami Dolphins. I think the Buffalo Bills finish third if Aaron Rodgers go there with the plethora of actual receivers that they're going to have, the running game that they're going to have, especially with that defense. But I do want to make one point. Aaron Rodgers reminds me so much of one particular basketball player called LeBron James. These are two people that sit there and talk about how good and great they are.
Right.
Okay, 24/7. While Michael Jordan sits back and just lets people do all the talking for him.
Exactly.
That's the difference. Tom Brady, you don't hear him going, "Oh, look, I was the best player ever for Tampa Bay, or I was the best player for New England." I wanted to throw up in my mouth, but yet I actually feel sorry for people like that. Was he not loved as a child?
I guess not. I don't know what he's going through. Darkness retreat, whatever. Hopefully it works out for Jets fans because I know Jets fans are excited about it. I'm not sure how the chemistry is going to work out because you're not talking about Tom Brady here. You're not talking about 7 championships, 8 championships at the end of the day.
And you're talking about having to deal with the New York media every day.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Media, they are going to chew him up and spit him out.
But I got a question. Is Kratom legal?
Well,
the T Kratom, is it legal in New York?
It may need to be legal for some of the Jets fans out there because they're definitely having these expectations, and they should because he's a talented player. But the problem is when you're asking for, he didn't even admit to it today. He's like, well, I had a list, but I don't have a list. That's not how it works. Like, just say it, buddy. You asked the Jets to get these guys, but you kind of wonder how the young wide receivers on that team and then Elijah Moore are thinking, Wilson, what he's thinking about at the end of the day when you want other players out there like an Odell Beckham who's been rumored to have, $15 to $20 million. That's how much you're going to have to pay Odell Beckham, who hasn't played a snap in the last 2 years. But that's who he
Odell
wants.
Beckham is not going to go to the New York Jets, even though that might be on his wish
That's
list.
what he wants.
He's not going to the New York Jets.
Right.
They're not going to pay him that kind of money. They have enough receivers. They have enough running backs there now. They have their tight end.
Yeah.
They're going to be just fine. But Odell Beckham Jr., I would be shocked if the New York Jets actually pulled the trigger and got him.
What?
There you
What?
go. All right, Leo, go ahead and promote yourself. I mean, what do you
That
think?
was 7 minutes, Leo.
Odell
I
Beckham.
know.
Yeah.
And now it's been 6. You were right first time.
All right.
I don't know about you guys, but I've been hammering the NCAA all week. They decided not to put Clemson in the number.
Travesty.
Unbelievable how the first time ever a third place team in a Power 5 conference did not make the tournament. And second, the NCAA can't get out of its way. Peter, you saw this. Every team got a chartered plane except Charleston because they weren't 400 miles, they were 380. How stupid can the NCAA be? If anybody up there got a brain, that's terrible.
I have $1 million question for you, Leo. And I've been wanting to ask you this. You're in a very narrow room. Is that like a restroom, a closet?
You know, I'm telling you right
now.
It's an office. It's an office. Okay.
It's an office.
I was just curious because it's like really super narrow.
I'll give you a good view.
Oh, it is an office. Check that out.
It's an office.
Hold on.
His
And
camera
here's my clothes drying out.
Well, there you go. And his camera view has gotten a lot better
Just
there.
reach behind you and flush.
Oh my God! You know what?
Wait a second. Okay, I'm working it.
All right.
That's what I love about
that
Leo
was
Haggerty. Pete.
All right, well,
now
I'm gonna
Pete's all embarrassed and everything else. Leo's
I'm
laughing.
going to let Peter deal with the hemorrhoid the rest of the night. So, gentlemen, have a great evening.
Naharaja.
See you.
Many blessings.
All right, let's go on to the phone lines. The tribal troll.
Acknowledge me.
Or the show has been off the rails. Go ahead, Roger.
The show is going to get smarter.
All right, guys.
Yes.
I just got my voice back after 4 days, so I'm going to keep this really brief.
Oh, goody.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
What's up, Greek? The Bears own free agency. Ryan Poles is a god. And last thing, Harry, this is for you. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Trask. Amen.
Okay.
This guy sucks.
Get out. Go away. Don't call back. Enough of you tonight. I'll tell you what. Let's go out.
Listen, at least I have a little cult, okay? They're following.
I guess. I really do. You know, a little cult going the Trascaneers there, right there with Harry the Greek.
Hey, we're the Trascaneers.
Okay.
Buccaneers. Go Bucs.
All right. Let's go on to the comments here. KR says, evening, guys. Tampa Baker. Good stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go on to Roger says first. No, you're not. You're last.
This guy sucks.
Mayfield, laugh out loud. Let's go Bucs. That was sitting right there. Let's go out to Roger again. Tampa, Mayfield, Eric. Let's go. Absolutely. Let's go. Eric says, great show. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you. Peter H. Blake is the best. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah.
Troy says, Saints signed a franchise quarterback, and we signed a goofball, immature quarterback. Way to go, Lights. Your thoughts on that?
Move on.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
I was going to give it, I was going to let you have it and, say what you needed to say, but,
Here, look.
Okay. Get ready. Fire the cannons today. KR says, oh, yes, sir. Troy says, bye-bye, David. I told you the Bucs were going to cut that. Ghost Peter, when are you going to start listening to me? Because
ready,
you're
Pete?
wrong. Yes.
Shut up.
They re-signed him today there, genius. Roger says, Bears own free agency.
Now
Harry,
that's a good page. You can keep that up for a little while.
please no wrestling tonight. And how about this?
Shut up.
How about this?
This guy sucks.
How about this?
Bring up the suck right there.
All right. So Eric says, feeling great. Good stuff there. Buccaneers. Absolutely, Harry. Thanks. Zeke rumors. We talked about it. Troy, welcome to Tampa, Ezekiel Elliott. So how do you feel about this? Ezekiel Elliott being rumored to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you like that move?
Not really, Pete.
Okay.
I think he's got a lot left in the tank. But then again, I mean, honestly, I think this team needs to get a little bit younger, especially at that position. Even though they have Rashard White, I think they need to find someone in the later rounds of the draft or pick up. Go ahead. Sorry.
You may be right. One of our favorite callers is actually calling the show. Mr. Williams, welcome to the Evolution. You're with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire. Go.
Hey, what's up, my man? Long time, man.
I know. Where you been? You don't love us anymore here on the sports web? What's up?
Oh man, as you know, man, I've been waiting for you guys to come in, man. Man, I've been following the talk show, man. I just been waiting to call you guys, but
Do I hear rocks in that glass?
Okay, all right. No, he's
Yeah,
having a good. Yes, he's. Go ahead.
no, man. Actually, you know, we made a lot of moves,
Okay.
you know, but I'm surprised that we fired Brian Leftwich. I'm surprised about that, but hey, NFL means you are not there for very long.
No, not for long. You're exactly right. What do you think, Mr. Williams, of
Okay.
Baker Mayfield?
All
As
right.
you like him? Okay.
He likes him?
I say Baker, all right. I'm gonna tell you that he all right, but in crunch time, we gonna see the jury is still out on that.
Okay. What about Lavonte
Jury
David
still
being
out.
re-signed?
Oh man, I am very happy about that.
Yeah.
I couldn't see him go. I couldn't see him nowhere but coming back here because he's smart as life is.
So
He played with Rondé Barber.
let me ask you, man, because you're an optimistic guy like I am. What do you see this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team doing right now? Because I know you got the draft still, and you can have some free agency.
Yeah.
What do you see this team doing this year, right now?
Let's get Beaterville some help.
Okay.
That's one.
Okay.
And let's grab some guys behind Lavonte Davis. And
Okay.
let's get my secondary some more help.
Okay.
You know, and let's find a workhorse to fulfill Leonard Fournette.
Okay. So what about Zeke to you? What about Ezekiel Elliott? I throw that out there. That's been a rumor.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I read up on that too. But can he stay healthy?
Well, that's it. Can he stay healthy? And then on top of it, and I don't know if he's.
Can he stay away from the chunky soup?
Well, he's definitely a guy that eats a lot, but he's very physical at the point of attack when it comes. Well, listen, if he wants to be fed carries, that's one thing. Feeding food, that's totally different. But he's a blocker. I think he can catch the ball to a certain degree. Is he an every down back? I think Rashard White can be your every down back. But in this league, Mr. Williams and Harry, you know this all too well. You have to have two good running backs at the end of the day.
Yes, now, Mr. White, that young man. He is very exposed. Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
My God, he got me. I am sold on that young man. At first, I was blowed on his takeoff, but he have a Le'Veon Bell takeoff. But when he get going, he's going.
Okay.
Yeah, he got that little skip of Le'Veon Bell, but when he's going, he's going.
He's got that patience, that's for sure. Right.
Yes, and when I seen that he was very strong when we played Seattle, and he shoved that guy 15 steps back. I said, I like it.
He stiff-armed him like I stiff-armed Harry tonight.
Yeah, man. Hey, Harry. Hey.
Yo, what's up, man?
You my guy, man. Like, for real. And I also say, let's get me some more offensive line, man.
Absolutely.
So offensive line. So you agree with Harry the Greek here? Would you move Tristan Wirfs to the left side, or would you keep him at the right? Okay. All right.
See, the room I told you was smarter.
You know, I'm telling you right now, you're really full of yourself at this point.
You're
right.
Not right. I will go out and get me someone like him.
Okay.
That's gonna stand as tall. Donovan Smith. Hey, we appreciate you, bro. But it cost me too many big plays, big dog.
Agree.
It cost me too many big plays.
Man, that man gave up the cheeks literally on every play.
Jeez.
Glad he's gone. See ya. In the words of Blake Anthony, he gave up the cheeks.
All right, Mr. Williams, anything else here on the evolution?
Hey, man, let's make a run and let's keep staying at the top of the South, bro.
All right, sounds good. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons for you.
Yeah, see you next week, man.
Yeah,
around the
man.
ground,
Hey, man, we appreciate the phone call, Mr. Williams. You have yourself a real good day. Be blessed, brother.
Monday and Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Again, 727-409-7528. 727-409-7528. It's been a crazy show, but I love these type of shows because we're debating.
Not crazy.
We're talking over each other. We're making all these great points, and everybody loves it. You know, they kind of sit back. Alex, call in if you want to. Ed, call back if you want to. Ron,
No.
call in if you want to. Yes.
No Ed.
Callers.
No Ed.
Well, you got Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. He's back. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with this goofball right here. Harry the Greek.
Brother.
Yes.
So my battery ran out. I know we
Did you give me some fried rice when you were at the mall?
Will you shut up and be quiet?
I texted him and told him I was hungry to hook his boy up.
I got 2 chicken cordon bleu and a baked potato left over from Sundays the other night, currently heating in the oven. But Peter,
yes,
I want first of all, Harry, thanks for coming on with me today, brother. You, as always, saved the day. But Peter, I just wanted to give you a shout out because you really have been busting your butt. You've been Johnny on the spot this entire week, and when you talk about the fact
Thank you.
You guys quit joking on me. I swear to God, I'll come over there and no, I'm kidding. But I just wanted to say, bro,
I'm telling
you, I see you, and I appreciate you, brother. And anyway, I know you got a big loaded show tonight. So my point earlier about Hainsey being at center,
sure.
I'm not saying the Bucs are going to try to get rid of a Ryan Jensen. What I'm saying is if
Hainsey's
body of work, if Hainsey's body of work in 2022 was enough to make a general manager like Jason Light go, huh?
Yes.
All I'm saying is that Ryan Jensen might be the only, if the Bucs are looking to get any draft capital, if there's teams out there that think they're just a quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl, then there's teams out there that think they're just a horse at center away from winning a Super Bowl. I don't want to lose a Ryan Jensen, a player of his ilk and his skill. What I'm saying is if
He'd look good in a Bear uniform.
No, don't even think about it, guys, because I think Jensen is a part of this offensive line's plans going forward. They're going to move Hainsey there to the right guard. In my opinion, that's the reason why you move on from Shaq Mason in the first place, because they were impressed by him last year. So they feel like they have to get him on the field. He was a former, third-round pick? That's Jason Light.
Doesn't Stinnie play right guard?
You have depth at the end of the day. You have Stinnie there. You can play him at left or right, and you can also play Nick Leverett. So you've got
Hainsey can play guard too, by the way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's going to play guard. He's going to be right guard.
Name the one player on this team. Let's just say a little god came to Jason Light the morning of the draft and said, you've got to trade one player and get as much draft capital as you can. What player on this team, not that he's this expendable, but what player on this team could be somebody that there's teams out there that would possibly consider giving up a second-round pick or a conditional pick?
The only player on this team right now, that would be Chris Godwin.
And I knew you were gonna. I knew you were gonna say that. And
no, it is. I mean, it's the only one. But that would be foolish to get rid of him, especially with a team that's built to win.
Nah, they're built to win right now, and everybody's saying
that's what I just said. It would be foolish to get rid of him.
And I know, and I'm agreeing with you.
What
was center a problem in 2022?
No,
Robert
agreeing with you. I agree with you. You are the man. You right here. Let me go. Let me do this.
Get a room, you two.
Let me do this.
Gobble.
All right, it's good stuff there. Ray, thanks a lot. What else, bud?
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
No, that was it. I just wanted to say I'm sorry the battery ran out, but again, thanks.
No,
for today.
man.
Y'all, if anyone hasn't had a chance to watch Cup of Ray from this morning, of course, you came on and broke it. I loved what Eric and I both got a kick out of. We'll now return to your regularly scheduled program, but Pete, love it, brother. The Sports Lab's got us all locked in. If you're not following it already, follow it. Share the show. Appreciate you, and you guys have a great evening.
Hey, man, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very much. You know, he's right. We went over 200,000, a 222,000 reach on this page here when we have Sports Web, all the content, the over-under. It's because of guys like Harry the Greek. It's because of guys like Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. It's because of guys like Leo Haggerty. It's because of guys like Jason Powers and Mark Mancini and Ralph Williams and people that are part of this, and TJ Reeves, Rock Riley, all these people that have been, a part of this, KNN and Mitchell Renz and people that are a part of this Sports Web. It's a beautiful thing, and it will just continue to grow. And of course, we can't do it without you. We love you guys out there that watch us. We love the fact that you like and share. That's what you have to have. That's the lifeblood of sports talk television and sports talk radio, in my opinion. And this is what this show has been all about. So again, open phone line. If you want to call up, we do care about what you have to say. Just don't talk over us, please. 727-255-0391. It's 727-409-7528. I got you, Harry the Greek.
Yes, you got me there.
Yes, I did. All right, let's read these comments. Yes.
Oh, there they are.
No, Zeke, please, you say. Okay, Bucs go 6-11. Go ahead and explain this. Why not Zeke? Well, I can't do that because you got to go out to the phone lines.
Yes.
Let's go out to Roger. Roger, using your second call. Welcome back to the Evolution, my friend.
All right. I just have a
Roger gets
for the
through.
Greek.
Yes.
Who is the worst owner, Sternberg or Glazer?
Sternberg, easily. I told you this. Why?
I'm gonna have to. He was asking the Greek.
Okay, Greek, go ahead.
I'm gonna have to say Sternberg.
Okay. Are you good? Are you there, Roger?
Roger.
I'm here.
Okay. All right. You went all pause on me.
I'm agreeing with both of you.
Okay,
I would have to say
thank you.
Sternberg.
Now, nothing against Alex, because I know Alex is a big-time race fan. I just feel like if ownership did more and went all in and got some hitting, that they may have a World Series by now. But that's neither here nor there. We're not going to go down that damn road again. I'm not doing that every time. I
Come
love
on, Pete.
I love
You want the chef to come back?
Stir up the soup, Chef.
Listen.
Chef Berg.
Chef of the poo-poo soup.
I said what I said here.
I have special ingredient. Can you please push the button for the special ingredient? Oh, yeah.
There you go. Okay.
All right,
Roger.
Okay,
what
Greek,
else?
the prognosticator. What's your grade on Ryan Pohl's first draft?
Oh, my God. Well, the first draft was last year. I really liked what he did. This year,
I mean, free agency this year.
in free agency, well, they had how do you screw that up with all the money that they had, that they had, and they still have $45 million to rifle through this year. You know what? Time will tell. I've never been a big believer of building a team through free agency. I've never really seen it work too much. But the players that they're bringing in aren't these real huge marquee style players that are going to, like an Albert Hainsworth when he went. I keep using that. Back then it was the Redskins. It didn't do well for the team, but man, I'm telling you right now, I'm not trying to sound like a homer, but that team could very well easily go from worst to first in that division.
I agree 100%.
I did, and I completely agree with you. I think it could definitely come together. It could be a Philadelphia Eagle turnaround, as crazy as that sounds, because Eagle team got to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that, but if Justin Fields develops like I think he can with all those weapons that you guys got more,
it'll develop.
Roger, we got to run, man. Thanks a lot.
He's the best quarterback in the NFC North.
All right, we'll see. We'll see, because the Lions definitely have some competition there with David Montgomery picking him up. Good stuff, Roger. Appreciate the call.
Good night, guys.
Yeah.
Good night, buddy.
All right, let's go out. Ed using his second call.
Uh-oh.
Don't screech on me now, Ed. You're getting real passionate. That's okay, but don't screech on me. Go ahead.
Hey, Harry, what's this Joe Ed stuff, man?
What's up, little Ed?
Oh, jeez.
I'm talking about I'm sorry. That's little Pete, Big Ed.
Okay.
Little Pete and Big Ed.
I got your little Pete right here. All right, I got you. I got that.
What's happening, Eddie?
Yeah.
What's this Joe Ed stuff, Greek? What do you mean by that?
It was a joke, man.
It was a
Stop.
joke. We're joking around. We love you here. We love you on the sports web.
I think I'm the only one of your fans of your show that calls out the Greek. You gotta put the guy in his place every once in a while.
Yeah, but it doesn't work. I'm the one that keeps it just doesn't work, Ed. I'm just being honest. I got the hot wife, I got the hot car, I got the money, I got the looks. What else you want, man? It's nice to be the Greek.
It is nice to be the Greek. All right, Ed, what else? What do you want to talk about?
I'm not going to deny the fact that you got it going on, Greek. I'm not going to deny it. Somebody's just
Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Where are we going with this show? Go ahead, Ed.
Anyways, let's get back to football here.
Please.
Yes, sir. Please.
All right.
I'm going to start on Aaron Rodgers.
Hang on.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty funny. All right, so
very good. Very good. Very good. Very good.
The
Go
Bucs
ahead,
have
Ed.
historically carried 3 quarterbacks. Do you think they will get another one?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I mean, do you? Let me ask you, Harry, because you're the pronounsticator here, or whatever. Do you?
Prognosticator.
Did I say it wrong? It's been a long.
Pronounsticator. I love it.
I have no idea at this point. I mean, do you
Hi,
see?
is this Emma Smith? Welcome to.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt today too. And this guy right here is saying, "Get back on the phone." I'm trying to watch the computer and not get in trouble, and I'm paying attention to him instead of the phone calls. Nearly did get in trouble. With that being said, could you see them drafting somebody or going after a veteran, maybe like a Ryan Griffin? What do you see them doing?
Honestly, I don't know if they draft a quarterback. If they do, I'd probably look for a quarterback in the real later rounds. Someone that they think that they may be able to develop, because then again, they don't know what they have in Kyle Trask. Okay, and this team could be absolutely atrocious, and they could turn around and get the quarterback of their future in next year's draft.
Sure.
And then that would be the time to go ahead and tear the team down.
Right.
You know, go ahead and unload the salaries and everything else. I mean, that's a great question, but I just don't see that playing out for this team this year. I do think that if there's another mid-tier quarterback that's out there that they can get on the cheap, like they did Baker Mayfield. Look, man, I don't put anything past Jason Light. What he ended up spending to get a Baker Mayfield is just absolutely astonishing.
Yes.
Okay, it's just astonishing me. I don't even know what to say.
$4 million.
Isn't Gardner Minshew still available?
I believe he is. Yeah. I mean, do you go sign him? Do you go sign a Drew Lock possibly?
No.
Well, he knows
Drew
the
Lock's
system.
not Drew. I understand he may know the system, but he still didn't do shit when he was over where he was at. I mean, come on, the guy stinks. He really does. He's just no good, Pete. Honestly, I mean, if you bring in another mid-tier quarterback right now, like a who did I just mention?
Gardner Minshew, then I'm going to have to tell you that I would assure you that Kyle Trask doesn't start this year. Right.
Yeah,
right.
He's just done. But I don't know, man. I don't know. You do have to have three quarterbacks. You have to have one down in your bullpen. That's what I like to call it. I like to use the baseball term because it's right around the corner. But you only go to the games with two quarterbacks, not three.
All right. Go ahead, Ed.
What do you think, Ed?
You only go with two, but historically they've always had three.
Yeah, most teams do.
Yeah, yes. So as far as Kyle Trask is concerned,
yes.
I don't think he's going to make it here. I think he's going to go somewhere else. Historically, the Bucs just cannot develop a quarterback. So I'm not really holding my breath for him.
It's true, but
just the fact he's a Gator guy,
right? I think he'll get.
I don't see it.
I think he'll get every opportunity to. And Leo thinks Baker start. I think Baker will start too. But let's say Kyle Trask outperforms Baker Mayfield or another quarterback. They're going to have to start him. You know, it goes back to what Russell Wilson, and they picked up.
But who's going to get first team snaps, Peter? Who's going to start the preseason games? Is it going to be Baker or is it going to be Kyle? It's going to be. Yeah, but you know that in the first couple of games, you're only going to go starters versus starters for maybe a quarter.
Right.
So who's going to get the first starter snaps? It's going to be Kyle Trask. It's going to be harder for him. Baker Mayfield's going to get mop-up duties going into the second half, playing against third and fourth string. So of course he's going to look better.
I think they may split it. I mean, they may do it game by game, right? First,
if they split it,
split
it, Trask is riding the bench. I'm telling you now, because he needs all the experience. And if they were smart, you run this kid for 3 quarters for the first 4 games, the end. And then you're going to, because you know what you have.
Well, you only have 3 preseason games.
I understand that, but I just realized that. Sorry. They know what they have with Baker Mayfield. You do not know what they have in a Kyle Trask. I'd let this kid play for 3 quarters. I really would.
Go ahead.
One more, and I'll call it a night here.
Yeah.
He's got a chance to dress this year where he had no chance last year. This is something this is a step in that he needs to get from the NFL, because then he gets to do game preparation. He gets to see how the game plan goes. These are things that he didn't get to do when Brady was here, and he's going to get that. And this is going to be good experience for him.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. He's going to get every opportunity, I feel like. And again, it's going to come down to also practices. It's going to see what these coaches see in practice and that they feel like he's flashing that ability and he's ready to progress. And I hope he is. I really do, because I'm tired of talking about he needs to get a chance. If he gets that chance and he kills it and he's better than Baker Mayfield, go for it. If he's a starter, if he's the future, great. I'm happy. I've just seen so many times I went down this road before and it hasn't been good. But again, I'm gonna have my mind open to it. If he outplays Baker Mayfield in practice in these preseason games, he gets the start. I'm going to trust this organization. I've always been on that record to say I trust this organization and what they do, the decisions that they made. Even if they didn't pick up a quarterback, I knew they were going to pick up a quarterback. Anyway it goes, you're not going to go with one quarterback on this roster.
No.
But the choosing of Baker Mayfield tells me
the writing's on the wall.
It may be
for that. Peter,
right.
Do me a favor. Go to your last comment. I want to answer that real quick.
Okay, let's go. Ed, thank you very much for the call. Let me go ahead and give you the Macho Man. Appreciate you. Last call. Wow, there's a lot of comments. I know we got to go out to
Second to the last one. David Mosier, one up. There you go. Harry, they've had Kyle now for 2 years. Don't you think they know what they have in him? Peter, I'm going to let you answer that, and then I'm going to take over.
Well, I mean, we said this before, and we'll say it again, right? 9 passes in the National Football League. He wasn't able to beat out Blaine Gabbert. You would be concerned about that. But then at the end of the day, when you look at it the other way, Blaine Gabbert is a Tom Brady guy. He's a veteran backup. Do you want to have Kyle Trask? I don't know what to think. I go back and forth on this. I know how you feel about it, or I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, you do.
Go ahead and you say it.
Well, you know, I think, and again, I don't know this to be true, but it's not fair. They don't know actually what they have in him. All I know is that they like the young man because they wouldn't have drafted him if they didn't. That's a fair assessment, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're not even dressing him for the games, it doesn't mean that they don't like him. He's just not part of their system right now. You had Tom Brady, you had Blaine Gabbert. The end. Now he has developed behind Tom Brady and a Blaine Gabbert. Now it's time to see, hey, let's take the training wheels off his bicycle and let's see if he can steer the ship or ride his bike for a complete block without actually falling over. So no, they don't know what they have in him. They don't know what they have in any player until they're battle tested. That is my point, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, now Mark Mancini, who's in the green room, says who's going to be the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears? I think it's pretty easy, right? Justin Fields at this point? Why is Mark asking that?
Well, because Mark likes to troll me. That's okay, though.
He's trying to troll you. All right, let's go out to some of these comments, and then we'll get you out of here. Are you on a time count tonight? Are you done?
Oh, I'm going, buddy. Mark's coming in. You guys are talking wrestling.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go watch an old Greek. I'd rather shoot heroin in my eyes than sit there and talk wrestling with you guys.
That's good enough to suck right there.
And let me explain this to you.
Who the hell cares?
I love Mark Mancini. I love all the guests that you have, but I don't know anything about wrestling. That's like, thank God nobody's asked me, hey, Greek, who do you like in the NCAA tournament? I don't know.
You know, half the time you don't know about the Bucs. It's okay. You still are on the show.
Oh. What was that, honey? Peter's going to get his ass kicked from a girl when he's just letting you know. Jamie's like, hey, come on over, Pete. The water's warm. Come on in.
You got food?
I got plenty of food.
Oh, you got steak?
Plenty of steak.
You ready to get my steak ready when Anthony Richardson goes top 10?
No. You said he was going to go number 1 draft.
No, I said he was going to be a number 1 pick in the top 10. You better stop putting words in my mouth.
No. You let me go ahead and repeat what you said because it's on tape, Pete.
Okay, it's on tape.
You said,
okay.
I can't believe Carolina might actually take Anthony Richardson. No, they're not, Peter. They'd be insane.
I still think there's a possibility of that.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Maybe not number 1. No. Listen. They're considering moving down from number 1, and because he is such a boom or bust prospect, that could be the reason why they traded up for him in the first place. I'm just saying it may be a smoke screen, but there are a lot of teams out there that love this guy's kid's potential. That's all I'm saying. And you're still going to owe me a steak because I did say top 10.
Can I owe you that steak and give you 2 when you pay me the other 4 steaks you owe me?
I don't owe you 4 steaks at all. You're a jerk. How about
Probably
that?
More than that.
This guy sucks.
Shut up. Bucs go 6-11. Adam says Zeke about to be a free agent. Absolutely. Troy. We kept David. Gosh darn it. Or gosh dang it. Adam says Rashard White is a beast, though. Rashard White, I mean.
Love him.
I love him, too. But I think you could use a Ezekiel Elliott if he's willing to come in here and be a complimentary back. If he's coming in here to be a starter, I don't know. That takes away carries from Rashard White. It's a good problem to have, but then again.
rumors hold he's looking for a team that he could be a starter on. He wants to be RB1, and I don't blame him. I mean, the guy was at one time was an absolute beast.
All right, let's go on to Troy here. Ray has been in the streets since 11 a.m. We hope that he can find a warm shelter, brother.
This guy sucks.
No, fire the cannons on that one.
We'll
That's a
fire
good
the
one.
cannons on that. Ray in the street. Rashard White can't break through tackles in the goal line. Great pass catcher. And Adam, that's where you could have your point here with Zeke being your short yardage back. That's where you could use him on the goal line in those 3rd and 1 situations, because I thought Leonard Fournette was terrible in those situations last year. And overall, the Bucs were terrible last year, whether it was the running back or whether it was what you like to talk about, the offensive line not getting enough penetration up front to open up that hole for that 1 or 2 yards. If that's
Can you repeat that last 2 sentences? Because that just didn't sound right.
Yeah, absolutely. The offensive line not being able to open up, get enough penetration to open up that hole. You're a creep for the 1 or 2 yards. I hate you.
This guy sucks.
Hey, guys.
You fell right into that river.
I'll tell you right now, your head is in the gutter tonight. You and Ray Kennedy. And then Leo joins along there. All right. Christopher Cole says, hey, guys, what's going on, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Dave here. People want Zeke. Then why did they let Fournette go? Aren't you just getting the same player? Is that true? You're getting the same player with a Zeke and a Fournette?
I think Fournette's actually a better player at this point in career than
Probably
they are
right.
with Zeke, but the same style of player, very downhill type of runner, still has that one cut for being very elusive. He just sticks his foot in the ground and he can make it happen. But honestly, I don't think Zeke is as good as Leonard Fournette right now.
Well, because you have lots of carries on him. I mean, the tread on the tires, if you will. You used to be a tire guy. There's a lot of tread on there because there's a lot of carries from the Cowboys and, of course, his Ohio State days. Let's go out to Travis here. Panthers got better today. Miles Sanders, they get him. Andy Dalton, I'm sorry. I mean, he's a backup. You know what I think about him. I know you love Andy Dalton.
He's
2
not
years.
bad.
Yeah, it's
Shut up!
Saints are prepping for Kamara being suspended. Absolutely, as they went for Jamal Williams from Detroit, over 1,000 yards career year. I mean, what do you think about the Saints? Are they getting better at the end of the day?
I think they're going to have question mark at quarterback, believe it or not, Peter. I really do. I still think they have question mark at quarterback. That's why they re-signed Winston and gave him a really good deal to keep him, because
I was shocked by that, because I thought Winston would go somewhere else again.
And
but
I wasn't, because if you remember, I told you I was watching tape. It was not even a week ago. And I was like, there's something wrong with Derek Carr's arm. There is. He can't throw to his left very well for some reason. He's bouncing him in like, a softball. I mean, it just doesn't look right. He's hurting. I think there's something wrong with the arm.
All right. Let's see here. Let's continue to read the comments here. Love the ABC sign in the back. Ray Kennedy, laugh out loud. Good to see you, brother. That's Adam. Thank you very much for the comment. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Running backs are going fast. Eric, yes, but the market is, it's not plentiful. You're not going to have to pay a running back $8 to $10 million. So the Bucs will allow that market to calm down if they go for a running back, unless they draft one. I think they could more likely draft one or go with Keyshawn Vaughn, who's been basically the man on the milk carton, a forgotten man who was a 3rd-round pick. I think they still like him and invest in him. And you can
I think all their running backs were a man on the milk carton the past couple of years.
Well, last year especially, yes. What is there to be excited about with Mayfield? Lots of potential there. Can make plays, can make throws. And then on top of it, I'll go back to this with Mayfield, and I think this is a point that you have to bring up. Dave Canales and what he did last year with Geno Smith. Smith was complete journeyman. Turn him into a Pro Bowl quarterback. I think that's kind of what the Bucs and Canales envision with Baker Mayfield. And again, he has that advantage because I believe that Canales is going to run some of that Rams system, which is what Baker thrived in. 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I'm going to get the guys on. I see you right there. Lots of comments, so be patient with me at the end of the day. Dave says, don't like the Baker signing, but I think he will push Trask because he does have the passion to be a starter. Sharice Farmer says, how do I share this? I've been trying for a couple episodes. Just share it on Facebook. It's on my personal page right there, and also on YouTube under the Sports Web. Godwin and Evans are top as the best wide receiver duo. Behind them is Metcalf and Lockett. Adam again or Chase Higgins. Trask was never getting a chance while Brady was quarterback. Fair point, Dave. Nothing Roger. Jason Light was sniffing dope early in the morning and thought signing Mayfield was a great idea.
Shut up!
Ryan Poles over Jason Light. Look, Poles has done a great job here the last 2 years, but he hasn't won a Super Bowl. So enough of your nonsense. Tulio says all the quarterbacks in Tampa will be competing for the quarterback one spot until a few weeks before the season. Agree?
Yes.
Okay. KR says the Bucs are going to use experience over youth. Roger Shue says in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Trask, amen.
Acknowledge me.
What an idiot. KR says Baker is the leader in the clubhouse. Dude, dogs can hear you. I think that was Sharice talking about Ed before. That's okay. Harry needs to lay off the pipe. He said the Bucs will win 13 games next season, then 12, now 10. Anything to say to Mr. Troy Polamalu?
I said minimum 10. At least I know Troy pays attention, unlike other people that I know.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Sitting, go Bucs. Absolutely, we'll fire the cannons for that. Guys, lots of comments, so stand by, Madman, and of course Ralph Williams, as we'll talk about our turnbuckle talk and also get your national perspective here on the evolution. Hey, Peter, did Jake Paul ever give you that watch? Boom, right there. Thank you very much for tuning in. Leo, do you know what the horizontal is? Oh, God.
This guy sucks.
Good thing I didn't answer any of your questions, Troy. Once again, in the gutter, Miles Sanders to the Panthers. You like that move?
Yes.
Okay. Sitton says, right, Peter H. Blake. Let's go out to Vernon. So my question would be, are the Bucs going defense or offensive line in the draft? Here we go.
I think they're going to go offensive line if one of the premier tackles are still left on the board at that point. If they're not, I am going to have to agree with Peter. I think they move back and then take additional draft picks and get the best possible players that help this team win.
I'll bet you a plate of wings they trade out. They move out because there's going to be a quarterback on the board by the name of Hendon Hooker from Tennessee. Teams are going to get desperate when they miss out on the top 3 to 4 quarterbacks. I think if he's on the board, definitely the Bucs would consider trading out, not only getting a defensive lineman, but possibly a tight end. Or like you said, because everybody said, well, no, not a tight end. They have Cade Otton. You get a blocking tight end that can catch the ball. Also, that can help your offensive line out, a.k.a. Rob Gronkowski.
Without question.
Thank you. Laugh out loud. That's me. I don't know what I was. Rodgers must be on something if he thinks he's the best player in franchise history. What was he on today saying that? I mean, Brett Favre is not in that conversation. I mean, best player in franchise history for the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers. Yes or no?
No.
Who's the best player in Green Bay history?
Bart Starr, I'd have to say.
Bart Starr, Brett Favre.
I would say Bart Starr, Brett Favre.
Okay.
Ray Nitschke.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers.
Who was the running back? Who was the running back wide receiver?
God, I can't remember.
Was it Paul Hornung? Paul Hornung.
Oh, what an incredible player. There's so many great players.
Yeah.
You know what? Listen, I'm going to give Aaron Rodgers his due. He's a great player for so many years.
Greatest in franchise history? He thinks he's the greatest?
Even if he was, you don't say that.
Right.
That kind of stuff. You won one Super Bowl.
That's it.
One. And he padded his stats every single year. Peter, did you know that he threw 9 touchdown passes when they were first in goal?
No.
From the 1-yard line. I want you to think about that.
That's like the equivalent of Barry Sanders not getting the ball on the 1-yard line.
Okay, he refused to hand the ball off. He was checking out of his plays.
That's
just last year I watched. He was checking out of his plays.
And he could
throw TDs.
And I defended the guy. And said the Green Bay Packers didn't get him enough weapons. The Green Bay Packers look like saints coming out of this. There goes Ray. McDonald's cut off his Wi-Fi. That's actually pretty funny. I'll give you that.
Flawless victory.
That's good. Baker Mayfield, a buck. What the hell did I miss here? Jason, it's okay. Aaron Rodgers is a loser. Green Bay
sucks.
Jason says Rodgers should just retire. Richard says go Bucs, go Bucs.
Oh yeah.
Go Bucs.
How about them Bucs, baby?
With what the Bucs were working with cap space, they've done a fantastic job so far during the new year. Absolutely agree.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Let's go out to Jason, Lavonte, and Dean with huge signings. I mean, big-time signings. Dean, one of the top corners in the league. You get him re-signed, and You get him under market value because 17, 18 million. Now it's 13, and you get Lavonte David. Bang up job by Jason Light, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I know you got to get out of here in a little bit.
No, I'm listening.
All right. I can think of at least 5 players better than Rodgers in Green Bay history. Jason says need offensive tackle, defensive line, and safety. Agreed. Mike, is there a stain on Harry's shirt?
No, man, it's just one of them shirts, bro. I mean,
Yeah,
this is something that I dig out from back in the 70s. It's tie-dye.
Oh, God. All right. Well, Harry's in rare form tonight. Laugh out loud. Baker, really? Typical old school Bucs. They're going to be just good enough to miss out on the 2024 quarterback. Not good enough to win the NFC South. With all that said, I hope I'm wrong. Christopher Cole says Vaughn is a good third down back. I mean, going back to that comment there, old school Bucs, you say 10 wins. You think they can win with Baker or Trask at the end of the day? Who has more wins in your opinion?
Well,
Trask or Baker?
No, they'll have more wins if they put Baker in there because he's the established veteran.
Come.
I mean, I'm not going to say that Trask can't turn into the next Kurt Warner for Christ's sakes, but
could be the next
I mean,
Brock
but
Purdy.
we
could be
don't
the
know
next
that.
Tom Brady, right?
There is no listen. Brock Purdy is not what you think, Pete. He's not that good.
Well, I'll take
really
those
truly
5.
is. He's in. You put him on a Buccaneer team, and they're just not going to flourish.
Right.
Okay. He flourished because of the system. This is a system quarterback that looked good. It doesn't necessarily means he would be good in a Bruce Arians style of offense.
Right. Okay.
That's
Vaughn
just fair.
Vaughn is a good third down back. You agree with that, or do you think he can tote the rock there and be the lead runner? Rashard White can't get it done.
Well, I'd like to answer that question, but I don't want to in case Ed's listening because he's going to think I'm picking on the team. So I refuse to answer that question.
Oh, please stop trying to give me the fifth here. Go ahead and tell me. What do you think, Vaughn?
I'm not a Keyshawn Vaughn fan ever since that one hit that he took in that Chicago game when he fumbled the ball. It just seems like his confidence has really left him. Do I think he's a very elusive runner? Do I think he could have been really good? No, I just didn't think that. I think this is a situation where the organization failed the player. I think this young man had tremendous upside, especially in the passing game, but they didn't utilize him correctly. And unfortunately, sometimes that's how you waste draft picks and you waste a lot of talent. And this team did this kid absolutely no service whatsoever. Had all the talent in the world, but I think it's too late for him personally.
All right. Good stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing Hansy at guard. Rodgers says F Green Bay. Okay. Shaq Garrett. Nice. Who's the worst owner, Glazer or Sternberg? We already answered that. Nice try there. Yes, Sternberg. Let's go out to Christopher here. Hansy came up playing right tackle. Ralph says, I'm wearing my glasses and headset in honor of Harry the Greek. Let's go ahead and check Ralph out really quick. There you go, right there. Yes, Jason says, I just don't see changing Wirfs, who is an all-pro these days. Teams have multiple pass rushers, and they're not primarily on the right side. Keep Wirfs where he is and draft a left tackle. But the problem for me, again, is left tackles that you draft, you're going to have.
That's only if they have one out there. You have to have a premier left tackle out there.
You have to go through the growing pains, even though they're great. They're not going to come in right away and be a Hall of Famer. It's
not going to be that difficult in this offense, Pete. I'm telling you, because they're going to be running the football, and you know that just as well as I do. It's a lot easier to run block. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Christopher Cole says this show is off the chain tonight. Roger says too many syllables to use. For Pete. I got your syllables right here.
This guy sucks.
Cincinnati just signed Orlando Brown Jr. What a
congratulations!
That is. Wow,
congratulations.
That's a big move, Harry. Okay, we read that comment. I want to get out to the more really old. You keep saying Jason Light is really smart, knows what he's doing. Don't you think he knows what he has in Kyle? I think he does. That's why he went out and got Baker Mayfield. It's a good point. 8 Mile is backup money. Or $8 million is backup money, excuse me. Lord help me, I'm agreeing with the Greek. That is a great deal. I'm not a fan of getting Baker, but at that price, wow. Good night, guys. Good night, Roger. Appreciate you. Hey, Harry, Bears just signed P.J. Walker.
Not surprising.
Wow, okay.
I like that signing. Another mobile quarterback. If you have basically the same style quarterback, mobile, who can throw.
Yep. Let's go out to Ben here. What was the issue of our running game? Was it the running backs, play calls, or linemen? I think it was a combination of
all three.
Yes, absolutely. Facebook user, I believe this is my own name. Good job, Peter Blake, for always having Greek Harry Berg. Way to go, Buccaneers, for bringing in a real quarterback like Baker Mayfield. And just wow. Ben says, great show, guys. Listening from California. Love hearing all the Bucs talk. Definitely going to have a good quarterback competition for the summer. Thank you, Ben. Reggie White, I think he's talking about free agents. Mahomes has 2 now, so he's better than Aaron Rodgers. Michael says, anything on Micah Edwards re-signing? Highly inconsistent. I don't know if his market is there, so the Bucs may get him back in a cheaper deal. But when he had an opportunity to start safety, he didn't flourish by any means. So maybe he's coming back to the Bucs depending on somebody signing him right. But don't fix something that's not broken with Wirfs. A lot of people against the whole factor of moving Wirfs to left tackle and keeping him a right. I get it, but I think that's what they're going to do, guys. You're going to be disappointed. Love the David signing. He just holds the defense down at least for one of them. Harry. Great time tonight, my friend. Great.
Oh, it was awesome. Please, but I'd be remiss. You need to bring in the other guests so I can say hello to them because I've been promised I might say hello.
Let's go out to the madman himself, former XPW announcer of Mancini Media, Mr. Mark Mancini. Welcome. And, of course, the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams, Pittsburgh's forgotten son.
Yeah, boys.
Guys, we talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on this show a lot. Give us some national perspective here, not only re-signing Lavonte David, Mark, but also getting Baker Mayfield for about $8.5 million. Welcome to the Sports Web.
Well, I love you guys. First of all, before I get into that, I'm really ecstatic. The Italians are moved on in the World Baseball Classic. My wife is downstairs watching the Colombians try to take out the United States. We can have a war in this house before the end of this night, but who knows? But we'll figure that all out later. But I like Baker Mayfield. He's got the swag, man. And anybody that has the swag is a friend and man of mine. And the Rams missed the boat on this one because they should have signed the guy.
All right, and I think there's a lot
How
of
about the Jets, man? I'm going to get props from you. I'm going to get props from WWDB and XM. I told you guys the world's worst handicapper, Rodgers, was going to the Jets.
Well, a squirrel finds a nut every once in a while there,
Yeah,
Mr.
that's what they say, too.
And Mark, did you know that in 20,040, the Jets are also going to acquire Jordan Love?
Oh, God. You know what?
Well, I will tell you this, Harry, being from Pittsburgh, I don't know where the hell New York is. I thought the East Coast stopped after Pittsburgh.
You know what? I kind of feel the same way. And here in Florida, guys, you know what we call the East Coast of Florida? New York City with palm trees. Hey,
there you go.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. All right.
Acknowledge us. The Penguins are coming.
Listen, I wanted to stay on long enough so I could see you two gentlemen. I wanted to see your mugs.
Thank you, Harry.
Yeah, I look like Klinger with the hair.
Hey, Harry, get in touch with me if you're not doing anything Tuesday night. I'd like you on my show.
Absolutely, sure. I'd be more than happy to do it for you. And this time I won't be wearing a headset. I'll actually have my camera equipment out and I'll do it right. I only do it this way for Peter. But for you, Ralph, I'll make sure I break out the good stuff.
Oh, you guys have that look like the Hanson brothers.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Well, I'm going to let you boys talk about the wrestling, whatever it is you guys want to talk about.
I love you, Harry.
I love you too, Madman. You
have a good one, Harry.
Ralph, you have a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Harry the Greek. Thank you for tuning in and let me go ahead and be part of this show. Absolutely love the controversy, love the banter. Hope you really did enjoy it. It's not just so much about the enjoyment, but you get to hear two different perspectives.
Yeah.
I'm not a Buck hater. Okay, Ed, knock on wood. I don't hate the Bucks, Ed. Okay, here, get it through your noggin.
Boom shakalaka!
Anyway, keep your bets low and your returns high. And as I always say, if I pissed you off, I did my job. I am the chef of the poo-poo soup. We'll talk to you later, gentlemen. Have a really good evening.
All right, good stuff there. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire on 1252 Chicago Sports.
The Giro, I got a nickname, the Giro Guru.
The Euro Guru. Hold on. Hang on. I got another one better for you. You ready?
Okay, what's that? I hate
what? Hang on. I'm doing the Leo. Or hang on. I'll do a real good Leo. You guys want to see Leo Haggerty?
All right, let's see.
Everything okay, guys? Everybody okay?
Oh, messing with my man, Leo Haggerty. Oh,
man. Don't mess with the legend. Get out of here, Harry. My co-host right there. Love you, brother.
Love everybody out there. Mark, you guys, we love you, man. You guys take it easy. Be blessed, everybody.
All right, there you go. Keep him on to talk wrestling, but he wouldn't stay on. Guys, really quick, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. I mean, actually, let me go out to Ralph. Baker Mayfield to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Your thoughts?
I thought it was a good signing. It was a what they call a stopgap.
Okay.
He signed to a 1-year contract, and I'd rather have a little bit of experience than none. So here we are. Baker Mayfield's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I didn't expect it, but you know what? It's great that he's there.
On the same day, Aaron Rodgers goes on the Pat McAfee show and says, I pick you. I choose you, New York Jets. I mean, what do we think of this guy? I was watching the interview today, and there was a moment where I basically wanted to be deaf. I wanted to shoot myself in the head because this guy, he was just talking like this and just monotone and just, I'm Aaron Rodgers and I'm from California and I'm just the greatest of all time. And
yeah, and he approves that message.
I choose the Jets and they're just, they're just the greatest. And they're, God, just kill me. I mean, honestly, Jets and Aaron Rodgers. Mark.
Well, first of all, I want to send prayers to Ralph's way for his nephew. It's been a tough week for me. My dad had passed away 37 years ago.
I'm so
yesterday,
sorry.
And I got a mother-in-law tomorrow that passed away. It'll be a year. So it's in the midst of a tough week, and then we get Aaron Rodgers. But I will tell you, if anybody can take over a town, and he's got ice in his veins, this might be the second coming of Joe Namath. I mean, they've had a lot of quarterbacks go through that system. Brett Favre I love, but this is a guy that just, he wasn't going to budge unless he got what he wanted. The brass flew out here to Malibu, parked all over the place like a paparazzi convention. You thought it was the second coming of the Oscars, and then he basically said, this is what I need. I need wide receivers. I know you got a great offensive line, a defensive line. I got my offensive coordinator here. I'll sign on the dotted line, and I'll leave happy days in Laverne and Shirley.
Love it. Good stuff. You're exactly right. And, Ralph, what do you think of the demands by Rodgers on, wanting these weapons, with supposedly putting it out there that Green Bay didn't provide him with enough weapons. And now he's saying, Jets, go out there and get those weapons. I don't understand this.
I don't either, Mark. I'm sorry, Peter. Wow.
It's all right. It's
both
okay.
of you guys. Anyway, I think his demands are wrong because, I mean, I know he wants weapons to play, to be able to play better with. I don't understand it. He's got his offensive coordinator from Green Bay there, Nathaniel Hackett, who was a horrible head coach, by the way. So,
right.
But I can't, I don't understand Aaron Rodgers. Sometimes you can't have your cake and eat it too. And this guy, you give him an inch and he wants a mile. So there you are.
There you are. You're absolutely right. The difference between him and Tom Brady kept it quiet. He went to the organization. He didn't come out in the media and let it known that we want this and want that. Odell Beckham, $15 to $20 million. A guy who wasn't played a snap in 2 years is ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Well, and not only that, when you look at it, I got a buddy that's a Colt fan. I said, well, they're like the Dolphins. They haven't had a quarterback there in a few decades, maybe. But I will tell you, keep your eyes on, guys, is the Atlanta Falcons. They had a nice coup down there, and you're going to see them up close, Peter, in that division. I like the pickups of Smith from New England. I like the Heineke pickup. I mean, keep your eyes on the Falcons.
Well, we'll see. And quarterback Desmond Ridder doesn't really, do it for me. And I get it. They got Taylor Heineke. Most likely he'll get the opportunity to start, but I think they're going to go with Desmond Ridder. I still think it's a mistake for them not to pursue Lamar Jackson, as well as other teams out there to not pursue Lamar Jackson, namely the Washington Commanders with going with Jacoby Brissett. I get it.
Just to jump in and real fast on the San Francisco thing, I got to agree with Harry on it. I'm not sold on the 49ers either. I think the system was exposed against Philly in the championship game. You got two unproven quarterbacks there in Purdy and Lance, and I think that division might be going through Seattle.
Wow. Seattle, who would have thought that with getting rid of Russell Wilson? But the way Geno Smith played last year, and I think that's kind of what the Bucs are hoping for with Dave Canales here, Ralph, being the offensive coordinator, trying to turn around a Baker Mayfield. Do you think that the Bucs can do that? Can they get him back to where Mayfield was in 2020, 27 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Pretty good year. I think the Bucs would take that, right, Ralph?
Yeah, this guy here that Tampa Bay hired from Seattle, he's supposed to be this big time quarterback guy. You know, he molded Geno Smith. I think he could do something with Baker Mayfield. And I'm interested to see what his offense is going to look like because I don't know if he's ever been a coordinator. I do know he's a great quarterbacks coach from what I read up on. But, I believe that, this guy can get this offense going a little bit and possibly, mold Baker Mayfield to where maybe, I was watching an episode of Bar Rescue and he said, I'm here to rescue the staff. I'm not here to rescue the owner. So, he might be there to rescue the quarterback and also let the quarterback go move on to something else. But I'm hoping Baker Mayfield may have a long-term deal there down the road. Let's see. I mean, he's been a traveling quarterback so far.
Yeah, he has. He definitely has been. He's been a traveling quarterback with the Browns, with the Panthers.
Hey,
Carolina.
you guys might get Eckler down there. The Chargers don't want to spend money. You see how they treat their players, Merriman and LaDainian Tomlinson. Eckler's on the move, too.
I think it could be.
We just signed Cody Holbrook today, or Cole Holbrook from the Commanders.
Well, there you go. And I definitely think you could see Eckler to Chicago. Let's talk about wrestling. Let's shift gears here to our turnbuckle talk. Vince McMahon stayed out of the way at WWE Raw last week, was not backstage this week, of course. A lot of controversy with him being at gorilla position. Of course, John Cena being on the scene there. Get this, he was sandwiched between Bruce Pritchard, Triple H. He once donned a headset, was said to have spent most of the time glued to his phone. McMahon also offered no insight or thoughts to wrestlers. I mean, do we believe this? Do we believe that he's staying out of creative, even though he's backstage at gorilla position? I still feel like he's putting his hand right there. He's got some type of say here when it comes to creative. Do we believe that he's not involved in this at all?
Well, you got to look at what's in his handshake. I mean, if he's, maybe there's a piece of paper in that handshake. I don't know, man. But Vince is, every time you think it's the end of Vince, he comes back. It's like, when you see some of these actors and actresses, you think, whoa, this guy was here 40 years ago. He's back again. But,
yes,
go figure. But as long as WWE's under their watch, Vince is going to have a hand on it one way or another, I think.
Ralph, Vince being involved in the everyday operations from creative, not a good thing in your opinion, right? Do you believe everybody in what they're saying that he's not involved?
No, he's not involved at all, Peter, because as I've said many times, okay, he has to answer the stockholders. He hasn't sold the company yet to make it private. So the stockholders in an agreement with Vince McMahon, that when he was done with all his legal issues, that he had to stay out of creative. I mean, he's there. He can put a headset on. He can listen, but he can't really say anything because that was one of the agreements that was made between him and the stockholders in order for them to let him come back. Remember, it's a public-owned company, and these stockholders got a lot of say in what goes on. So he can't just, he's limited to what he can do right now until he sells it. Once he sells it and it goes private, and maybe he can get involved depending on what the new owners want to do with him.
You're exactly right. I think it's a bad PR move for him to even be involved in the company, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. With that being said, the 2023 Hall of Fame, WWE Hall of Fame was announced. Rey Mysterio is the first member of this class, and now announced tonight, the Great Muta is also involved in it, whose real name is Kenji Muto. And then I guess he's going to go in like that. I mean, the choices there, of course, Rey Mysterio, possibly fighting his son. I feel like his son is going to come out, have some type of altercation in the Hall of Fame to really have some heat during WrestleMania. I think that match is going to happen. Rey continues to say he's not going to fight his own son, but of course, that's what they're setting up at the end of the day. This could be Rey's last match. Do they put Rey over? Do you see Rey fighting his own son at WrestleMania? And what do you think of his Hall of Fame choice? And then, of course, the Great Muta.
Well, the greatest mask of all time, I would say. I mean, that's how you sum up Rey Mysterio. But, yeah, I think he goes against his son, and that could be the turning point after he beats his son. his son will probably have respect, shake his hands, and we'll have our fill of the Judgment Day once and for all. I don't know how the hell they opened up this past Monday night. I almost had to watch a rerun of Gunsmoke. To see that thing. Yeah, I can't watch that with these three morons coming out. Finn Balor, no mic skills whatsoever. Us three doing this show can be a Judgment Day in itself. But
Well,
these guys have
we are
no
the
mic
Judgment Day. Yeah, the Judgment
That's
Day
right.
on Sports Web. Your thoughts here? A great Muta and Rey Mysterio being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Good choices here, Ralph.
Absolutely, and Ray is being inducted by Conan, and the Great Muta is being inducted by Ric Flair. So I like the choices for the Hall of Fame. Muta's, oh my gosh, Muta! I saw some great matches with him, and I also have seen many matches of Rey Mysterio. As far as Ray fighting his son, I hope it happens. I want to see him take his son to the woodshed. I really do.
I do too, and I think everybody wants to see that. Ray has been a good father, but of course, at the end of the day, who doesn't want to see the father take his son to the woodshed and whip his ass?
Well, according to Dominic, he has not been a good father.
Well, yeah, of course, they're trying to sell that. All right, with Muta, he spent the bulk of his career with New Japan Pro Wrestling, All Japan Pro Wrestling. Over the course of his 39-year career, he was a 3-time Triple Crown heavyweight champion, 5-time tag team champion in All Japan. Also, during his time with New Japan, Muta won the IWGP heavyweight title 4 times and IWGP tag team title 6 times. And of course, he was a part of the legendary tag team feud with Terry Funk against Flair and Sting in 1980. So he was a part of the legendary tag team feud with Terry Funk against Flair and Sting in 1989. He won the NWA Television Championship from Sting in September of 89 and also held the title for nearly 4 months before losing it to Flair's Four Horsemen stablemate, who's very underrated in my opinion. We'll talk about him in a moment. Arn Anderson. Why does Arn Anderson, the Enforcer, not get more play?
Well, you're probably the same way. I think, when I worked with Terry Funk in XPW, I like Terry Funk. I mean, he was one of the best wrestlers of all time. Shouldn't he be in some kind of Hall of Fame?
I thought he was already inducted into WWE's Hall of Fame.
I don't know if he was.
Yes, he is.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah, I believe he is. And he went in and he was Chainsaw Charlie.
Chainsaw Charlie.
Then. Cactus Jack, and they fought the New Age Outlaws, and they were very responsible for putting that group over in the inception of Degeneration X. Watching that last night, and you forget about those type of matches, but Terry Funk was wrestling for a long time. He was actually in Roadhouse. You remember Roadhouse? He was in greatest movie.
Arn Anderson was teamed up, if I'm not mistaken, with Tully Blanchard.
Correct. You're absolutely correct. The original
Tully Blanchard.
Yep, Ralph, why doesn't Arn Anderson get more credit? And what about Terry Funk? Well, what's your best memory of Terry Funk?
Oh God,
the matches he had with Mick Foley. Yep. Oh my gosh, those were the best matches. And then I seen him fight Ric Flair a few times. Those were good matches. Terry Funk was a great wrestler. He was inducted in 2013 into the WWE Hall of Fame. But anyway, I think that Arn Anderson doesn't get enough play anyway. I mean, and right now he's with his son Brock Anderson in NWA right now. He's trying to help him out, and his son Barrett just passed away.
Yes.
So Arn Anderson right now is where he is. He was with AEW for a little while, working with Cody Rhodes. I don't know why he didn't go. I don't think he's allowed back in the WWE. I think there was something between him and Vince. Some creative differences or something.
I still think he'll be allowed in WWE if it can make money, if it can make business, if it's best for business. But you're exactly right. I think it's more about his son. His son. And losing his son. Prayers out to him and his family because Kevin Nash is going.
Kevin Nash just lost his son.
Exactly.
Yes.
And Ric Flair lost his son. I mean, it's
his son. Right.
Wow.
And getting back to the Mick Foley, I've been to one Hell in a Cell. And I'm going to the first WrestleMania out here. So I've never been to a WrestleMania, but I'll be going to the one out here in a few weeks. But wasn't the greatest Hell in a Cell the Undertaker and Mick Foley coming?
Oh, absolutely.
In Pittsburgh. in Pittsburgh when he threw him over the cage at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena. Yes.
I don't think
that was a great match.
Yeah, I don't think you could ever get away with a match like that ever again. It was so dangerous. And when you saw Foley go, and here's the thing, it wasn't the one where he went off into the table because everybody always talks about that one.
Right.
He also went through the cage. I believe, guys, the reason why Foley wrestled that match is because at the time Undertaker was actually wrestling with a broken leg. Am I correct about that?
I think you're right. Yep.
I mean, that's amazing to me. Like a broken leg, you're wrestling in a match that dangerous. Amazing. Amazing. All right. Well, somebody who thinks they should be in the Hall of Fame, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but the great Virgil, who, of course, was the chauffeur of Ted DiBiase, went to WCW. He announces that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame with this. With pride and satisfaction, I'm finally excited to announce that I've been inducted into the Hall of Fame thanks to The Miz for stealing my gimmick and Damage Control for me being their hero. Meat Sauce Goes Hollywood. Of course, no announcement by WWE that Virgil is going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, guys, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
Not really. He didn't do much, I don't think.
Well, he made that whole. I'd have to give him more of a thing than some of these other ones that, you know, if you're going to line up Naomi and all these other people, I mean, I'm going to go with Virgil because Virgil made that character with the $1 Million Man. I mean, he was kind of like the lackey, or you know, and
being a butler or servant.
Exactly.
Go over today at all in the wrestling business.
Oh my gosh, that would But and then when he turned on him,
he lives in Pittsburgh. He lives in Pittsburgh here.
Have you ever?
I didn't know that.
Ralph, have you ever encountered him? Because everybody he said that he's ever encountered, he's been a jerk to, and I think maybe that's the reason why he's not in the Hall of Fame, because it seems like everybody makes the Hall of Fame, and I think he definitely had a part in it, right, in the late 80s, there in the 90s, and then also going to WC. He was never a wrestler. Was he a manager? You know, is he up there with Bobby the Brain Heenan? No, but he was. I mean, what do you say? Have you ever encountered?
He was a spearhead. He was somebody he was a fixture. He was just somebody who was there to support whoever he wanted to support. That's what Virgil was. And then when he was in WCW, he was Victor. So, I mean, you know, but that's all he was. He was never, you know, a wrestler. I don't even think he was a manager. I just
he was lost in the shuffle with Sensational Sherry, I think, when $1 Million Man went with her.
She's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, some people come on and say he should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know what he is personally, but I know that I remember him. And when you're saying he's a spearhead, he was a part of it.
Or not a spearhead, but I mean, he was a figure. He was
figurehead.
That was there.
Figurehead.
Yeah.
So do you think that eventually he'll be in the Hall of Fame? Should he be in the Hall of Fame, guys, in your opinion?
I think so. I really do. I think if that whole gimmick
you know what?
ran with that.
You know what, Mark? I do agree with you on that. You make an interesting point. Maybe he should be. I'll agree with that.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Virgil. I think we're only 3 fans of Virgil, but, you know, there could be some fans there. Him saying he's going to make the Hall of Fame, I don't think is really wise. I think that kind of rubs people the wrong way there. And
I hear
what about my every time now I see Karrion Kross and Scarlett, Peter, I think of you.
You better stop with that, because I know why you don't care about Karrion Kross. You care about Scarlett.
Hey, Peter, Hey Peter, I didn't know you were a referee in the WWE. There's a guy that looks just like you that's a referee. You know, I always say there's Peter Blake.
Guys, people used to say I look like Shane McMahon. When I shaved my beard, I look like Shane McMahon.
Yeah, you do. Yes.
Shave my beard, I look like Shane McMahon. So there you go. All right, let's go out to Harry the Greek here. I like Dick the Bruiser. That's all, folks. That's all I got with wrestling. Dick the Bruiser. Before time, you guys want to talk about Dick the Bruiser?
Yeah, I heard of Dick the Bruiser. But I tell you what, though, nowadays, guys, if you ever talk to some people who are like our age, a lot of these folks, they were into wrestling back in the 80s and the 90s, and that's it. They don't talk about, they don't want to be involved in nothing like Harry. And I know a bunch of guys that are just, they're back in the day. My buddy Claudio Rosano, he does a show. He interviewed Bruno Sammartino before he died. I mean, and he's interviewed some guys from the 70s, but as far as lately, he checked out Smoking Jim and I show tonight, talking wrestling for the first time. So I mean, but he even said it. The 70s and the 80s and some of the 90s was actually the best times in wrestling. A lot of
Freddie Blassie.
That's you can't beat him.
You're never going to be able to recapture the Attitude Era. You're
No,
never
not
going
at
to
all.
be able to
Not at all.
recapture the Monday Night Wars because
the NWO, the
Degeneration X, all the
X,
storylines.
yes.
I mean, you were a wrestling fan back then, guys, and take me
Yes.
back there to the
Bash
late
at the Beach.
90s. Right.
War
Well,
Games.
96, that's when it started. But you remember
Yes,
the whole war, 83 weeks, as Eric Bischoff talks about on this podcast, where WCW was nearly looking to put WWE out of business. And this was on that NWO special where basically Bischoff told Nash, I'm going to put them out of business. And Nash said, no, I don't necessarily think so. That's Vince McMahon there. But they were very close to doing that. Let's talk about that time really quick, and then we'll get back to it. What do you remember fondly, Mark, about that time, that golden age of wrestling, the Attitude Era, and of course the NWO and WCW and the Monday Night Wars?
Well, I remember the Monday Night Nitro, and I think the big drawback of that was they needed more Ted Turners to run it. I thought it was going to be successful down there because it was part of that whole TBS thing that Ted Turner had purchased, and I thought that the Superstation. Remember, we got everything. If you got cable back in the day, it was WGN out of Chicago, and you had TBS out of Atlanta. So I thought it was going to be something, but I guess what ends up happening in businesses, guys, is if there's no foundation or structure, and people don't know how to walk before they run, this is what happens. And I think that's what happened with Bischoff. He just saw, WWE, that we got to conquer them, but he didn't have the game plan on how to do it.
Well, you didn't have the game plan to do it because the long-term plan or the short-term plan was, and basically this kind of goes back to free agency in football. You just go into free agency, but you're not developing any players. That's exactly what Bischoff did with getting guys from WWE that were washed up. And then in that time, Vince was developing Triple H. Vince was developing The Rock. Vince was developing Stone Cold and putting over Cactus Jack, which, by the way, was in WCW, and they didn't know how to use him, but they made him a superstar. That's the reason why eventually WWE crushed WCW. And then furthermore, when you have Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, and Eddie Guerrero all walk out at the same time and show up on Monday night, because it used to be the other way around for those first 2 years. It was wrestlers coming from WWF, WWE at the time. Now you had WCW wrestlers showing up. And basically, for me, that's the greatest thing about Vince. He's very creative with storylines and basically developing young guys and putting them over. That's exactly what they did. And that's when they buried WCW. They could throw all the money they wanted to at wrestlers that were washed up, but fans were tired of the same old gimmicks. They were tired of the same old storylines with NWO. They were sick of it. And then on top of it, in that building, Ted Turner was the only guy that liked wrestling. Everybody else, as soon as they saw it as being a financial loss, they wanted nothing to do with it, and that was the end.
Well,
AOL didn't want nothing to do with wrestling, Peter and Mark. They didn't want nothing at all to do with wrestling.
Well,
and when he sold it off, look out.
The way you guys broke that down reminds me of the USFL in the day when Donald Trump was running the Generals. You had Marvin Davis running, I think, the Denver Gold. And, to compete with the NFL, come on, man. A startup company ain't going to knock out something that's been around 60, 70, 80 years.
Yeah.
And the only advantage of something like that is keep taking the draft picks, the number 1 through 5 draft picks every year and flood them into your league. But that wasn't going to happen.
But the thing is, they never developed those wrestlers that they let go to WWF at the time. You had Chris Jericho was completely over, and instead you put Hogan and Macho Man and those other guys, and they're great in their time, but there's a vehicle for that where you put a Chris Jericho in a match, you put an Eddie Guerrero in the match. Chris Benoit, of course, the mat stuff was crazy, but he was a hell of a wrestler, and all those superstars that eventually developed into superstars, and that's where WCW couldn't do. We're on with Turnbuckle Talk here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with former XPW announcer, Mr. Mark Mancini, and the Bodyguard of the Berg, Pittsburgh's forgotten son, Mr. Ralph Williams right there. Let's go out to Chris Jericho talking about AEW's growing pains. He said what AEW needs to improve on, and this is what he said: we've gotten so big in 3.5 years, so there are a lot of growing pains as we expected they would be. I don't think anyone thought that we'd be doing the numbers that we're doing, both in the arenas and ratings-wise. So obviously we're working on our infrastructure, working on all sort of things behind the scenes and building the corporate side of AEW. Everybody's learning how to be on live TV. It really is just everyone thrown into the deep end, and you had to react accordingly. I've been very proud of everybody that's been able to do that. We've had some bumps in the road, but that's expected in pro wrestling. We've become a major television entity in a very short period of time. Does Jericho have a point here, Mark, where
I think he does. I really do. And, keep striving on that. But, when you look at it now, the mix of guys coming into the WWE, from those NXTs, from the AEWs, from all these other federations now that WWE seems to be swallowing up.
Yeah.
The guy that I think gets lost in the shuffle, not only my guy we were talking about, Karrion Kross. What are they going to do with a guy like Dexter Loomis, and who does he remind you of? He kind of reminds me in some ways as a Brooklyn Brawler.
He does, and he's got the attitude. I think he's definitely, maybe not necessarily the best on the mic, but he's definitely got character, and they can build around it. And he's been a crazy man. You're exactly right. That's the problem with AEW also. WWE has talent, but AEW right now, they're getting these wrestlers from WWE, and they're trying to find, some type of way to put them in storylines, and they're not able to fit anybody. Where's Miro? Nobody's seen Miro.
Oh, yeah.
He wants out. Malachi Black wants out. There's a bunch of guys that wish that they didn't sign with AEW because they're not being used properly.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, Malachi Black and his Dark team they're the Trios champions.
The Dark Order.
So, yeah. They didn't use Buddy Murphy right. They didn't use. There's a bunch of guys. Keith Lee. I mean,
God.
So.
Oh, well, Keith Lee, I don't know what they've done with him.
I don't know what happened.
I mean, I don't know what they did with them in WWE. I don't know what they're doing with them in AEW now. Where Chris Jericho said the AEW excels, he said there's no other wrestling company in the world that puts on a show like AEW as far as being an all-around smorgasbord, if you will, of pro wrestling styles. If you look at our last pay-per-view, Revolution, which was tremendous. If you're a wrestling fan,
unbelievable.
If they could do wrestling shows like that, AEW will be around forever, and they were definitely challenged WWE. I don't think they're going to dethrone them because it's such a huge entity at the end of the day. But if they do that, they're going to have an opportunity to hang around, which I think is one of the best we've done. You start off with Jericho and Ricky Starks in a pro wrestling match. What a concept. Then you got a final burial match with Christian and Jungle Boy, which was good, which is off the charts. You have an amazing 6-man match with the Elite and House of Black. Then you have a Texas death match with John Moxley and Adam Page. And then you have a 60-minute Iron Man Classic with MJF and Bryan Danielson. Those are all 5 distinctly different matches, and all of them were amazing. You won't find any of the wrestling show in any of these companies. It's what we do best. So I think we just continue to do AEW, improve upon that. I think our production has to get much better over the last month or so. We got a new director named Mike Mancini, who's just really made a big difference as far as the replays and the way things are shot. All that stuff makes you appear more gigantic, and all those little things matter in the ring and outside the ring, and that's what it really comes down to. Update here from Harry. I like the guy Dusty or Rusty, something like that, Dusty Rhodes. By the way, Harry, his son Cody is going to be in WrestleMania versus, of course, the tribal chief Roman Reigns. And Harry says Columbia 2-1, bottom of the third. Oh,
wow.
So Columbia over the USA right now, and a bit of an upset. Is Jericho right on that, where they excel, where this is where they can actually hang around and compete with WWE because they have so many different storylines and matches and characters at the end of the day, Mark?
Yeah, no doubt about it. But when you talk about a Texas Tornado match and all those, nobody did it better than Von Erichs. We can go back to when, those guys were the best at those matches.
Sad too, by the way.
Yeah, it really is. And Harry, it's not Rusty, it's Dusty. Maybe he's looking for, what was that guy that came in from the Bears that one time and got in the Mike McMichael. Was it McMichael?
Yeah, Steve
yeah.
Mongo McMichael.
McMichael. He's one of the
Steve Mongo
Maybe
McMichael.
maybe Harry's looking for one of those guys.
Listen, he's one of the
And
great.
Stone Cold Steve Austin was married to his wife.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's
Definitely
right.
Michael. And at the time, he was one of the original announcers of Nitro.
Yep.
They switched him over as a wrestler. He was he got hurt, but he was a part of the Four Horsemen guys. Steve Mongo McMichael.
Yes.
Who could forget that?
Mongo, yeah, wow.
All right. Yes, Steve Mongo. All right, Ralph. So what do you think about what Jericho said? That's the reason why AEW excels.
Well, AEW does do some good things, guys. But the problem is with AEW right now, and I've said this many times, they have signed too many wrestlers, and they have no room for them.
Yeah.
Maybe this ROH thing that's going on, that's going to be a separate entity, will finally give some play to some of these guys that have been sitting around collecting money and not doing anything. That is where Tony Khan has to step up like Vince McMahon and say, okay, if you're not going to wrestle, we have no creative thing for you, then you know what, you're done. Okay, that's what Vince McMahon does. And that's why Vince McMahon is successful, because of that. And right now, you have some guys like Miro and some of these other ones, they have no creative means for them, but they're sitting back and they're still collecting money. WCW did the same thing. Okay. I know a wrestler named Bob Cook. Bob Cook told me that this is what he told me. He said that right now AEW is using the WCW playbook and they better be careful because they might lose. You know what? He might be right on that.
Yeah.
But I do agree with Jericho that there are some good things with AEW, but they need to get these media scrums out. They need to stop having fights in the locker room after pay-per-views. Somebody needs to control that. Somebody needs to step up. I heard Omega's tried. I heard Jericho's tried, and nothing's working.
I think it's a plan. I think it's perfect. Yeah. I love it. I pay attention to the media scrums because of it. You love to see CM Punk go off the rails. You love to see MJF go off the rails.
But I'm talking about fights in the locker room, Peter. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
I'm talking about, right, the elite and CM Punk and that kind of thing.
That's a work. I don't necessarily.
Well, let me ask you guys something. Do you like to see Kevin Owens beaten down every week?
Oh, my God.
This is coming, man. This is coming. They're going to take the belt.
Here you go, Steve Mongo. You're exactly right, Steve Mongo McMichael, and unfortunately his health is declining.
Wow.
Very rapidly. I don't know if you saw him. It's a very sad story. MLS.
Yeah, I heard.
I didn't know that.
Yes, very sad. God bless him and his family.
How old is he?
He's relatively young, man. I mean, it's scary. And he's
going to be in his. Is he in his 60s?
I think he's in his 60s. Yeah, 60s or 70s. Sad.
Wow.
Very sad. All right, we'll finally finish up here with Kenny Omega. He was asked by Dave Meltzer.
Mark, 65. Peter, Mark, 65.
65. There you go. Last week, AEW was hoping to sign Omega and the Young Bucks to long-term deals. He was asked on a podcast for CBC News on Wednesday about his future, and he hasn't had that sort of epiphany about it yet. He says, I always kind of try to find my own way, or at least try to lean in the direction of where my heart is pulling me. I haven't had that sort of epiphany yet. What do we make of these comments? To me, this says to me, look, if I'm not ready to sign with AEW, I'm going to the big boys at this point to steal WCW's catch line from the mid-90s there where the big boys play, and I feel like he's going to end up in WWE. What do you say, Mark?
Well, he's pulling an Aaron Rodgers. That's what he's doing. He's lining up his artillery. He's saying, this is what I'm going to do. And sometimes in life, in order to move up, you got to move on. So he knows what he's doing. He basically signing his thing that he's got to go to the WWE, and that's inevitable. I mean, Ralph had broke that a few weeks ago, thinking that he was going to come, and we've all kind of followed Ralph to this thing. But yeah, he's going to the WWE. This is and who knows, guys, if this doesn't happen at WrestleMania.
Well, I tell you right now, that would be a hell of a story, but I think probably the night before, that's the one you have to watch. It's not during WrestleMania because they haven't done a buildup of it.
Yeah.
To me, the perfect scenario at the end of the day is bring him back the night after WrestleMania. Ralph, what do you say? Omega and the Young Bucks, because the Young Bucks are up here. So you get that
Oh, I love
package
the Young
deal
Bucks.
in WWE. I mean, you can really make a storyline out of this. Ralph, do you think they're going there, or do they stay with AEW in your opinion?
I think they're going there, and I'll tell you why. First of all, Tony Khan threw them under the bus with that CM Punk scuffle. Okay, they're executive vice presidents. They are the ones, along with Cody Rhodes, that got that wrestling started. Chris Jericho, John Moxley, just to name those guys. They were the ones that got this AEW started. Tony Khan just started getting involved, about a year or two ago? Yep. And ever since he has been involved, there has been too much of this nonsense going on with these executive vice presidents. And I believe that since they got thrown under the bus and they got their titles removed from them, I think they figured, well, you know what? If he's going to throw us under the bus, then guess what? We're going to move on when our contracts run out. And I believe that's going to be the case because I see this. If WWE gets Omega and the Young Bucks, they're going to go sky high because there's some stuff I'd like to see the Young Bucks against the Usos or the New Day or something like that.
Yes.
Can you imagine these matches?
The dream matches are
Omega versus Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
Versus Roman Reigns maybe if he stays.
Rollins.
Right. Yes.
I mean, these are matches you can build around at the end of the day. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Ralph, go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Once again, God bless you and your family, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. And also Mark as well. My nephew's still unstable. He's having some issues with his lungs right now. But right now he's still in somewhat stable condition down there in Youngstown, Ohio. I had to get out of that town. I'm sorry. I had some issues there. I wouldn't send my worst enemy to that town. But anyway, Ralph Williams 737@gmail.com is my email. I'm on Facebook, Wimkin, LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter, and also check out my YouTube channel. I'm at 91. I'm looking to get to 100 by June. So if 9 more people subscribe, I'll be at an even 100. You can check all my shows out there as well.
Good stuff, Ralph Williams. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Sports Club, my friend. All right? Good stuff. Good stuff there. Let me go out to the madman, former XPW announcer, Mancini Media, XM Sirius Radio, Mr. Mark Mancini. Go ahead and promote yourself.
Well, I'll tell you, it's XM Sirius. It's WWDB, AM 860 out of Philadelphia. And Friday, I'm sitting down with former NFL player Luis Sharp.
Wow. Okay. All right.
We got to get him through this thing, baby. We got to get him through. You know, this show that's sweeping the country on Wednesdays.
Yes, sir. Wednesday nights at 9:00, my friend, on I Love St. Pete, the hub, and Amped Up Sports. Mark, appreciate the time as always. All right.
I love you, brother, man. This is the Judgment Day of sports talk.
Yes, it is. It is. All right, buddy. See you later. Good stuff there. Mark Mancini, former XPW announcer. It has been a passionate show, has it not? 2 hours and 30 minutes, nearly 3 hours. Of course, the big news of the day, Baker Mayfield signs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Also, the Bucs re-sign Lavonte David. Aaron Rodgers chooses the Jets. So we'll see if they can work that all out. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Like I Love St. Pete, the hub, and Amped Up Sports. Thanks to all the guests tonight. The legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports. Of course, Harry the Greek, my co-host, professional handicapper extraordinaire at 1252 Chicago Sports. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy in the house, as always. Great job today, my friend. Mark Mancini, the madman himself, of Mancini Media, and of course, Pittsburgh's forgotten son, the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams. We'll be back soon here. If anything breaks with your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, keep it locked here on the Sports Web. Do 3 things for me as I try to catch my breath with all the sports knowledge we put out here tonight. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And Bucs fans and fans of the Sports Web, it's your time. Enjoy the March Madness. Have a great night.